Coach Lou Holtz is the latest link in the Notre Dame football championship chain. As unbeaten 88 national champions, his Irish team is added to the mystique that is unique to Notre Dame football. A mystique that extends to the campus and its famed landmarks. The Golden Dome atop the administration building. The mural of Christ dubbed Touchdown Jesus. And the bronze statue of Moses called We're Number One are as well known as the highly publicized successes of Irish teams. The foundation of this winning tradition was built in the 1920s under Knute Rockne. His teams lost only 12 times in 13 seasons. In the movie Knute Rockne All-American, Ronald Reagan played legendary halfback George Gipp. Pat O'Brien was Knute Rockne. Gipp was fatally stricken, and years later, Rockne would inspire a great win with this now famous speech.
Sometime when the team is up against it, and the breaks are beating the boys, tell them to go out there with all they got and win just one for the Gipper.
In the 1980s, Colorado head coach Bill McCartney struggled early, but this season his team is unbeaten, ranked number one. A victory tonight would assure Colorado its first national championship in this, their 100th season. McCartney is their leader, and Sal Anesi is their inspiration. In 1987, he was the Big 8 newcomer of the year, and last year, the selfless quarterback and team captain led Colorado to an 8-4 record. But Sal Anesi died last September, 6 months after being diagnosed with stomach cancer. He was 21. While battling cancer, Sal taught his teammates profound lessons, those of courage and caring. His lasting effect is alive, running much deeper than the reminders they wear on their uniforms. As they cleared their toughest Big 8 hurdle, beating Nebraska on their way to this Orange Bowl, tailback J.J. Flanagan took time to kneel and point toward the heavens in remembrance of Sal Anesi. In honor of their stricken teammate, Colorado has kept Sal's locker intact. After that Nebraska victory, Flanagan went to Sal's locker, emotionally acknowledging that they were one step closer to fulfilling Anesi's final wish. From his deathbed in September, he wrote his final goodbye to his teammates. His words inspirational and prophetic. Don't be saddened that you no longer see me in the flesh, because I assure you I will always be with you in spirit. Hold me dear to your hearts as you know I do all of you. Strive only for victory each time we play, and trust in the Lord, for he truly is the way. I love you all. Go get them and bring home the Orange Bowl. Truly a 1990 win one for the Gipper story. Written in Colorado and played with feeling in Miami tonight.
Fourth-ranked Notre Dame against the nation's only undefeated major college team, number one Colorado, in the 56th renewal of Miami's Federal Express Orange Bowl. A breezy 60-degree night, a noisy sellout crowd of over 75,000 fans to watch the Irish and the Buffaloes in a game to decide a national championship. They play for number one in the Orange Bowl tonight, and arguably the number one recognized fight song in college athletics is the Notre Dame Victory March. certain those Irish fans will be shaking down the thunder from the sky and get a little extra help as well from Miami fans rooting for the Irish tonight. Cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame. You bet last year as the Fighting Irish went unbeaten and won their record 8th National Football Championship. In its entire athletic history, the University of Colorado athletic program has won a total of 11 national titles, all in 11 in skiing. Tonight in their 100th football season, Colorado is a win away from the magic of their first national football title. Joining us in Miami on this Championship Monday, Bob Costas.
All right, Dick, and we come to you, I guess, from someplace inside the tuba section. Bob Costas along with Bobby Beathard. As you've documented, the Buffaloes have the Sal Onesi saga to call upon for inspiration. With Notre Dame, tradition, heroes, and legends galore through the years, if they need an additional boost. But, Bobby, in realistic terms, it'll be decided by the quality of football personnel on the Orange Bowl turf tonight. And what do you see as the keys?
Well, both teams are blessed with have great talent. But when I was up in Boulder, Colorado a couple of weeks ago, I found out a couple of interesting things from the Colorado coaches. One of the defensive coaches said, looking at film after film of Notre Dame, they noticed that their two guards were tipping their hands on their play action plays and their passing plays, simply leaning back, taking the weight off their hands. So what they want to do is align their safeties so that they can view those guards' hands. We'll see if this tip helps Colorado.
If Colorado wins it, of course, they're the national champions, no question about that. Notre Dame has to win and then hope that the team that spoiled their perfect season on this very field about a month ago cooperates by losing in the Superdome in New Orleans tonight. That, of course, would be Miami against Alabama. Now, Ralph Wiley has spent most of the day with the Notre Dame team. We go to him on the sidelines. Ralph?
Bob, in the sometimes strange, sometimes maddening, sometimes wonderful world of college football, right behind me, through this tunnel, one of the most bizarre sights, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish coming out of the Miami Hurricane home locker room onto this Orange Bowl turf. They're going to look a lot like Miami tonight. They're going to go with play action. They're going to go with drop back passes. I talked to Tony Rice, and with a gleam in his eye, he said, I can run any play Coach Lou Holtz calls. Raghib Ismail will take the second half kickoff. And you know, with all this pomp and circumstance, Bob, I can't help but think what you thought. It comes down to 11 on 11 on a glorified satellite. That's the view from here. What's the view from there, Juice?
Well, it's pretty much the same over here, Ralph. It's going to be a very emotional game. That's nothing new to Colorado. As you know, the Sal Onesi story, this team has been on a quest this entire season. You may see the players grab a knee early in the game, as Dick spoke on. They started this early in the year. They would grab a knee and point to the press box when Sal was ill, but still able to attend the games. They wanted him to know that this game is for you, Sal. We're here for you. We're going to win it for you. Tonight, you'll see him point to the heavens with the same sentiment. Sal's last message to the team was to bring the Orange Bowl home, and I spoke to some of the defensive players today. They're emotional, they're high. They know the one thing they must do is take Mr. Jackson, the fullback, out of this football game. Anthony Jackson, the fullback for Notre Dame, out of this football game. They want Tony Rice to run the football, and they say if he runs the football 25 times, they will win this football game. Back to you, Bobby.
All right, OJ, and we'll be back here at halftime for Bobby Beathard's observations and all the scores and highlights from the other bowl action around the country. Right now, enjoy the Orange Bowl, everybody, as we send you to the capable hands of Dick Enberg and Bill Walsh. Gentlemen.
And the drama builds with so much at stake for these young men. The Irish know the feeling. Last year in the Fiesta Bowl, they won the national championship, completed a perfect year, the 8th national football title for Notre Dame, most ever in collegiate football ranks, as Lou Holtz took home the trophy from the Valley of the Sun. And now it's the Colorado Buffaloes' opportunity. It's there for them if they can beat Notre Dame. A slight favorite are the Irish tonight. We wait for the Irish. They're scheduled to make the initial appearance. Apparently Lou Holtz keeping his team in the locker room longer than had been anticipated. Indeed, they have been cued minutes ago. You're mindful of a story when Holtz was the coach at Arkansas, and there was a long delay, and Dan Hampton, the great Chicago Bear professional, was telling jokes for 15 minutes, loosened up the Razorbacks, big underdogs to Oklahoma, and they upset the Sooners. And now there are those golden helmets of the Fighting Irish. Ned Bolcar, 47, two-time captain, brings them out of the tunnel. The Notre Dame number 4 ranked Irish 11-1. Record-setting Notre Dame team, remember. Lou Holtz's team has won 23 in a row until they were defeated by the University of Miami on this field in their final game of the regular season. And now the Buffaloes, led on the field by their mascot, Raghib, a hard-charging 1,200-pound filly. Both teams meeting at the center of the field. And imagine the spirit and the emotions of this moment, especially for Colorado and Bill McCartney talking to the referee. It's an Atlantic Coast Conference crew. His team emotionally charged, as they have been throughout the course of this year. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Bill Walsh. Welcome to this grand climax of this first day of the year 1990. We're in the Orange Bowl in Miami. Number 1 at stake. Less than a year ago, Bill Walsh, you were playing for your 3rd Super Bowl championship. You understand the emotions those two coaches have gone through. What were they looking for in the locker room?
Well, what electricity, Dick. I can't believe this. They're going through, just really operating on nerve right now on all of their preparation this last week, throughout the season, even going back to spring practice. What they want is emotion, but they need poise.
All right, emotion and poise. If those are the two key characteristics, then let's look at each team and how they measure up. Colorado, emotion.
Well, a lot of emotion, bordering on maybe hysteria. They brought this team right up to the point. What an assignment to beat the mystique of Notre Dame, as well as being a great Notre Dame team.
How about the Irish emotionally?
Well, the Irish are always there. They're a great football team, a tradition. They've played well for so many years. It's a typical Irish team.
And Lou Holtz had to get them a little angry. Maybe he felt they weren't emotional enough.
Well, he had his talk with him. We overheard it. He went to the extreme with his team. He wanted them angry going into this game.
And how about the poise, Colorado?
Colorado's going to have poise, but they've got young, adventurous guys. They're up to dealing with the Notre Dame mystique and the Notre Dame physical approach to the game.
And the poise for the Irish?
Well, the Irish have been there before. They've had a great game every week. Everybody's been after them for years, so they'll play well. But are they really quick enough to beat this Colorado attack?
Sal Anesi, his spirit has been with his team. Some feel that that should have worn, eroded away during the course of the year. It has not. Believe me, in being with this young team and their coaches throughout this week, it is a very real, almost mystical strength that they're finding. Religious. They're marked in various ways. Sal on the back of the linebacker, Michael Jones, shaved into his head. You'll see his number 8 throughout the uniforms and bodies of this Colorado team. There's something that drives this team beyond just the national championship, as Sal Anesi in his final letter was read at his funeral mentioned. It is a we. He referred to in death as a we thing, and that's how they have applied their year. And there is his roommate, fellow Samoan, Oakland Saladea. Notre Dame won the toss, and Lou Holtz, and it's not unusual for Holtz to do this in big games, elected to defer. So the Irish will kick off. Colorado takes the ball, but Notre Dame will have the wind in this first quarter, and it's a wind that's gusting from right to left as they kick up to 23 miles an hour.
Well, Dick, Colorado has the best kickoff return in the United States in collegiate football, the best there is. So we're going to have to look for some potential thing Notre Dame's going to do to counteract it. Now you see them setting back in a huddle. Who knows what's going to happen, but they have a plan. Colorado counts who they're going to block. They've done a great job of it all. You're averaging over 26 yards of return. So with all this time to prepare for a game, the kicking game becomes a factor. They use real strategy in it.
Craig Hendrick, the freshman kicker, stands with the other 10 men behind him. And what they may be trying to do is disturb the counting process for blocking. Each man in the Colorado system has a man numbered, and they do it by way they are lined up from sideline to sideline. The Irish apparently are going to take that away. They're going to attack from the huddle. And a long kick with a win by Hendrick into the end zone to Mike Pritchard, and Colorado with a touchback will start from the 20-yard line. Darian Hagan, who replaced Sal Anesi. He's a sophomore from Los Angeles, finished 5th in the Heisman balloting, rushed and passed for over 1,000 yards. His offensive line: Bill Coleman, All-America guard Joe Garton, Jay Lowenberg, Darren Muhlenberg, and the giant Mark Vanderpool. He's over 300 pounds. Hagan has in the backfield fullback Eric Kissick, Mike Pritchard at the wing, J.J. Flanagan over 1,000 yards rushing as the tailback, Jeff Campbell as the split end, and John Perrick the tight end. Out of that option offense, and Hagan is dropped for a loss at the 19-yard line by All-America nose tackle
Chris Zorich, coach, he came from behind the play, beat Lewenberg to center, and got right to the ball.
There are the Irish down 5. Devin McDonald, Brian Flannery, Chris Zorich, Jeff Alm, and Scott Kolkowski. Don Grimm is not starting. Michael Small starts in his spot. Ned Bolkar, 2-time captain, All-America Todd Light at one corner, Stan Smagall at the other. Francisco and Terrell are the safeties. 2nd and 11 for Darian Hagan from his own 19. Flanagan gets 5 to the 25, and that'll be 3rd and 5.
That was a rather unique position. They put their fullback Kissick up at tight end and forced Notre Dame to balance their defense. This is one of their strategies. They didn't feel they could get their counter plays going, and they see move Kissick up. You'll see Kissick right here. Now they're going to run this way, but they wanted to balance that defense up and get something going. You see him protecting on the backside. Pretty well done, but the scraping linebackers just fill the hole.
Troy Ridgely for Bob Dole made the tackle. On 3rd down, Hagan's first pass is not good. Incomplete to the tight end, John Perrick, and Lou Holtz's defense is held on the first series.
A little anxious. The play was there. Kissick at the tight end position went to the flag, to the corner, was open, but Hagan threw inside to Perrick.
Ricky Waters, a dangerous return man, a brilliant junior from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, drops back for the Irish. And Rocket Ismail is on the line of scrimmage, and he's a man to watch because with his speed, he can block any punt. There's Waters standing back between the 30 and 35 in Notre Dame territory, and Ismail lined up at the left end defensively, and they know he's there. The nation's #1 punter, Tom Ruin, hits a high one. Waters lets it go, and what a kick for Ruin, who averaged over 45 a punt this year, a net of nearly 44, and he booms one. 58 yards. So the Irish take over at their own 17-yard line. Mike Brennan, Tim Ryan, Mike Held, Tim Grunard, and Dean Brown, a big offensive line. Tony Rice, Anthony Johnson, and Ricky Waters behind him. Pat Eilers, William Pollard are the wide receivers. Derek Brown, the tight end. Rodney Culver is in there for Notre Dame, and it's
Anthony Johnson, the fullback from South Bend, Indiana, straight ahead for short yardage out to the 20-yard line against the Buffaloes defense that features All-America Arthur Walker, Joel Steed, and Oakland Salavea. The front three, 4 linebackers, Alfred Williams and All-America Terry Johnson, Michael Jones. And there are the secondary for Colorado, McClellan and Gibbs at the corner, Young and James at safety.
Colorado outside linebackers are the best in college football, the best pair of players.
Waters has a big hole. No, it's Rodney Culver, the sophomore from Detroit, Michigan. 6 feet, 220 pounds, shooting through a big hole. A 12-yard gain before Bruce Young can bring him down at the 32-yard line.
Culver broke through, made a hell of a play, excuse the language, but we had this action inside, and he broke through right here all the way down the field. Now you see that the nose guard separating, and Smith moved outside, and there's a big hole up inside.
Now Tony Rice with the option set, and it's Waters on the pitch, and what a tackle made by Bruce Young, who shot up from his safety position.
Bruce Young is a big hitter. He's the one hitter in that secondary. People question the other people, but he's almost like a linebacker in support. They're going to have big tackles from their secondary because this Notre Dame group with the Rocket and the fullback, and these people coming up inside the secondary people are going to have to make the plays.
And Waters came out limping, and the Rocket Ismail has replaced him in the backfield. 2nd and 13 from the Irish 30. Ismail hit in the backfield. Canavis McGee, who made some All-America teams, part of the Houston gang. They call themselves the H Boys. 3 outstanding starters from Houston, Texas.
He's 6'5". He'll be right here. 6'5". He's going to make the stop inside. 6'5", 225 pounds, and really quick. You see him take on the guard and the tight end. So those two cornerstones, Williams at one corner, McGee at the other, are really solid to take away any kind of a trapping game to the outside.
So consecutive losses on the ground by the Irish. 3 yards lost on first down. Another on that play. Brings up 3rd and long for Rice. Breaks a tackle. And gets to the 40 and close to a first down. Bumped out of bounds at the 40. He'll be shy by about 1.5 yards of a first down.
Rice is deadly coming outside. College football, they have the wide field. It's over 30 feet wider than a professional field. When you set on a hash mark, Rice has all that room to sprint and run. It's really tough to contain his speed, plus the fact that he can throw on the run so well.
Craig Hendrick, a freshman from Godfrey, Illinois, who averaged 44.6, a Notre Dame mark. Kicks to Jeff Campbell. Remember, it was Campbell with those 2 brilliant punt returns that helped the Buffaloes over Nebraska. He's back at the 21.
This is the best punt return in college football.
Line drive. 30. And brought down near the 35-yard line. Anthony Johnson, the fullback, on special teams. And Lou Holtz uses his starters on those special units. Was downfield to make the tackle. Each team has had a chance. No score. The Orange Bowl, a jewel teeming with excitement on this January 1st. O.J. Simpson down below. What happened in that pregame where both teams met at midfield?
Well, Dick, what happened was the Colorado players said that they were alert that Notre Dame would try to do something to show them up or to intimidate them. So when they saw the Notre Dame players go to the center of the field for the ceremonial coin toss, they all ran out there. They said, we will not be intimidated today, and thus far, doesn't look like they're going to be. All right, Ralph, what's happening on your side of the field?
Speaking of intimidation, O.J., you saw the tremendous hit that was laid on Ricky Waters. He came out of the game limping badly. They did the flexor movements to his left knee. He looked me right in the eye and says, I'm going right back in there. He'll be back.
And Waters appears to be walking without a limp on the sideline. So the Colorado Buffaloes have the ball at their 35-yard line. We played just a little over 4 minutes. And Colorado has its second opportunity. Eric Bieniemy has replaced J.J. Flanagan at tailback. Bieniemy number 1 on his uniform. This is their standard option set with Pritchard in motion, and the give to Bieniemy has a hole, and
picks up 5 quick ones before Ned Bolcar can grab him around the ankles.
Well, at this point, they should run the ball because the first pass thrown by Hagan was not accurate. He was a little anxious to get it done. So this running game will slow things down enough to get a better feel for that secondary and how to attack it. So that's the thing to do. And of course, Bieniemy and Flanagan both have super speed, especially running up inside.
Southern California has defeated Michigan 17-10 in the Rose Bowl to spoil Bo Schembechler's farewell game. Bieniemy again. He's tough to bring down and has the game's initial first down out for Colorado at the 50-yard line. Troy Ridgely makes the tackle of Bieniemy, who's only 5'7", but weighs nearly 200 pounds.
Well, Chris Zorich, the nose guard, the great All-American nose guard, you'll see him being turned by Leuenberg and driven off the line, finally turned back away from the line of scrimmage. Leuenberg, according to the Notre Dame people, they feel he's the best blocking center they've seen.
And Zorich has come out of the game. They had the helmet off, looking him square in the eye, so he may have taken a blow to the head. Hagan. And the little quarterback on the option doesn't get anywhere. Scott Kolkowski, whose dad was an NFL lineman for 11 years with the Detroit Lions, there to make the tackle. And there's Zorich, a brilliant junior season. All-America, consensus All-American from a tough area south of Comiskey Park in Chicago, and a man who has battled through a lot to make it to the university level and is very grateful for all that's happened to him.
He's really a story in himself. What a great football player. Colorado people felt they had to block him low, get his legs out from under him, or he'd control the line of scrimmage. Thus far, they've done pretty well with it.
Brian Flannery has replaced him on the nose. Second down, Hagan spinning across the 45 to the 44. Bolcar and Kolkowski make the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 3, and back into the lineup goes Chris Zorich, number 50 for the Irish.
Well, Colorado's had excellent history in this kind of a situation. Virtually perfect all season. The 3rd down and 1, 2, or 3 yards, they've been able to make it primarily with Hagan running the ball.
They come out with Bieniemy at tailback. Campbell is the lone split receiver to the bottom of your picture. Bieniemy trying to pick his hole and fights close to a first down with that second effort. That's going to be perhaps requiring a measurement as Zorich and Bolcar collaborated on the stop.
Notre Dame is so tough inside with Zorich, but Bolcar is one of the great linebackers coming out of college football playing this year, and Grimm. So we can take a look at them and just see how they can handle the blocking. Now Garton, the great lineman for this great lineman, is going to be ready to block. See him come off, but watch the great hit inside right here, and then across with the both linebackers converging on the ball. Really tough inside. Great offensive lines, excellent defenses. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the second half as people begin to tire some and the speed of both quarterbacks begins to show up.
Bolcar from Phillipsburg, New Jersey, watching as the Irish and Colorado both anticipate the measurement as they bring in the chains from the far side. Only the 11th man in Notre Dame football history to be named captain twice. Quite a honor for Bolcar. And Colorado is short by about 6 inches of a first down. So a tough call for Bill McCartney, the 49-year-old head man of the Buffaloes, and they've been so successful on short yardage, as Bill pointed out. You have the feeling he's going to go for it here on 4th and inches.
Well, he's got the national championship at stake. They may not get this field position again, but they need to score because we know that Notre Dame at some point when they get field position will be able to do it themselves. But they've been almost letter perfect in short yardage all season.
Problem with the clock, it shows 18 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and so the officiating crew sends Colorado back into the huddle.
Tough part inside is that Notre Dame has Zorich right over the nose, and Grimm and Bolcar, good inside linebackers right over those guards. Ulm and Ridgely, 2 excellent people over the tackle. So it's going to be tough, but going up over the top with either one of their tailbacks is most likely what they'll do.
You don't think they'll play the option, try to go wide?
Well, they made that work too, Dick. they're in against a certain mystique too. They have to take Notre Dame on, but also Notre Dame history on as they play this game. And at this point, they're doing fine, but I think as the game wears on, they're going to have to deal with it.
As you look at McCartney, his first 3 years at Colorado were dismal at best. In fact, in his third season, his team went 1-10. And weren't there rumors at that time he was going to leave Colorado?
Well, he had 3 successive losing seasons, the third one being the third year of it. So he was looking at the SMU job. He needed relief. And speaking with the college president and other people on campus, they convinced him to stay with it. This often happened. It happened to me in 1982. So I know how a coach can feel after a series of losing seasons and wondering whether he can make it go or not. They switched to the option offense. They have Nessie, they have Hagan now, and that kind of thing has brought them back. But he's been very flexible. I'm really impressed with this man, with both coaches. But McCartney expresses himself well, handles emotions well. Here they go.
4th and inches. Notre Dame tough in this situation. They've allowed only 9 first downs in 24 fourth down attempts. It's a sneak by Hagan, and that offensive line gets him the first down.
Again, Jay Lowenberg, an excellent center, has a great player in front of him, but as of now, he's getting his job done.
Lowenberg is 6'3", 265 from Kirkwood, Missouri. He wears number 52, and he does lay a crunching block and allows Hagan to crawl over his back inside the 40 and a first down.
So much of the Colorado preparation was cutting down the defensive players from Notre Dame, cutting them down across the board. They're physical, they stand up high, and they'll lock into you, and they're very tough to move, but they talked about cutting down people. And that short yardage was exactly what they did. I think that really is the key to offensive football in this day and age, is cutting down defensive people rather than standing up and trying to fundamentally block them.
Yeah, the officials are going ahead with the game even though the scoreboard clock is not functioning. No score. We're midway through the first quarter. And from inside the Irish 40, Hagan looking. Spinning back inside and picking up about 5 before Troy Ridgely, number 99, trailing the play, can make the stop.
What a threat both these quarterbacks are. Dropping the throw, watching their receivers. Now, in this case, the plan, since watching Notre Dame early on, was to run a pattern deep down behind the supporting safety man. Notre Dame covered it beautifully.
Well, that may be the best back 4 in college football. Smagala, Light, Francisco, and Terrell, and they had everyone covered. 2nd down and 5. The enemy going pick off the blocks. Darian Hagan drops the ball, and Notre Dame recovers. Pat Terrell. As he was shifting the ball without a hit, the enemy drops it, and the Irish have it at the 19-yard line.
Beautiful running, excellent blocking. He broke between people, trying to, as Dick has indicated, trying to move the ball from one hand to the other. He got in trouble. We see Zorich move, breaking right up inside, cutting off people. Now watch him. Oh, he tried to change hands right at a critical point.
And Terrell was there for the Irish at the 19-yard line. So Colorado driving into scoring territory, and Bieniemy unable to handle the ball cleanly, and the first mistake is covered by the Irish.
The 1990 Federal Express Orange Bowl is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. By Shearson Lehman Hutton. When you do it better, you get to be the leader. By Cotton Incorporated for America's cotton growers. Cotton, the fabric of our lives. And by Federal Express, the best way to ship it over there.
These teams fighting for a possible national title, and if that should be the result of this game, it'll be the 5th time in the last 10 years the Orange Bowl has hosted the national championship game. Here's Bieniemy, the junior, and he just runs into his own bad luck, drops the ball, and the Irish are there to cover.
You know, they've only had 13 turnovers all year with a high-risk type offense. Now, that's obviously an endorsement of Hagan and the other backs and the coaching they've received fundamentally, but only 13 turnovers all season. Of course, there's number 14, and it may cost them.
Rocket Ismail is in the game, number 25, in the backfield behind Tony Rice, along with Anthony Johnson. Ismail. And
he's wrapped up. Good solid hit by Chad Brown, who's gone in at linebacker for the Buffaloes. Brown, a freshman from Pasadena, California, went to Muir High School there.
Well, they had the stacked defense we've heard about all week from the Colorado coaching staff. They moved their linebackers to handle the option, and they got caught with a counter play, a big hole. And it's going to be interesting to see if they go to that so-called stacked defense again.
Now the option set with Johnson, Eilers as a wing, and Rodney Culver as the tailback. Second down and 6. Culver is it Johnson? Yes, the veteran Johnson, the senior. Slamming out to the 30 and a first down before Brown can make the tackle.
The scouting report on Johnson was don't let him get working straight up the field and lower his helmet because he's so tough. He bowls people over. The talk was to cut him down and get him early. If they didn't, he could really get ahead of steam.
Ismail, who led the Irish in receiving, returns to the lineup, but not as a wide receiver, but in the backfield, and eventually it appears that's where he will be playing in his final 2 seasons with the Irish. They scored late first quarter. The give is to Johnson, and he is smothered. Boy, Tony Rice took a hit as well. Arthur Walker, number 83, and Alfred Williams, 94, made the tackle. Good deception and that option set by everyone really carrying out their fakes.
It's a little new to me, Dick, and I'm fooled about half the time. I was in practice. Beautifully coached, all of this. The fundamentals are excellent, and the faking in the option is very important because you keep the secondary people, the defensive backs, watching their particular man to deal with the option. So as long as you fake, you're in pretty good position.
From the Notre Dame 33.5.
There's the stacked defense.
Rice turns it up inside and crosses the 40. Scramble as if they were going for the ball. They'll be just shy of the first down.
What they're trying to do with the stacked defense, and we can show you, see linebackers stacked here to take away the option, but we get a cut back inside of it. People over pursue. But this is the technique that the University of Miami used to stop the option teams, and you see people getting cut and pushed out of the way. And Mike Jones, an excellent linebacker, was knocked sideways, and there's a big hole in behind him.
3rd and 1. They use 2 tight ends, Derek Brown and Rod West. Anthony Johnson is the fullback. And it's Johnson straight ahead battling, and with a second surge, looks as if he might have nosed the ball forward. It depends on the spot. Michael Jones from an inside linebacker position spearheaded the Colorado charge.
Some real tough running inside. I'm sure both coaches are going to be a little anxious. They want to go down the field with a pass because they know it's going to be tough to go the length of the field running the ball, even though that's their strength.
First down at the Notre Dame 42-yard line. We can only guess as to the time remaining in this first quarter. Can't be more than a couple of minutes. Ismail now in the backfield as the wingback. So now they shift him to the right side, back to the left. Leholt trying to position him various spots. Good play action by Rice. He's going to make his first throw of the game, or is he? Chased and hit in the backfield for a loss. Gary Howe, number 95, a junior from Spencer, Iowa, made the play.
Well, they got a little anxious. They wanted to go down the field. The running was so tough. Neither team has underestimated the other one. And what we have is a counter pass in which they tried to fool people. You can see Rice coming out. Now he's caught with pressure to his right. He has to run to his left. Very tough to run left and throw the ball right-handed. You can see him try to do it. He couldn't get the ball back to get rid of it.
Ricky Waters has returned to the Notre Dame lineup. This time it's the Rocket way out to the right. Waters at tailback. Rice overshoots his man, incomplete. It was the tight end Derek Brown, but the pass too tall.
I'm not sure who he was throwing the ball to there, Dick. Derek Brown was there, and Derek is 6'7", 235 pounds, so he reached. It might have been to the Rocket, Ismail, on the outside.
So 3rd down, 16 for Notre Dame.
They've gone to 2 straight passes, and they'll most likely go to a 3rd now. That's really not their basic plan, but in a big game like this, coaches can lose their patience pretty early.
Ismail out. Pat Eilers, number 13, is wide to the right. Went to Yale his freshman year, and then to Notre Dame as a walk-on. Terrific blocker. They seldom throw to him. The give is to Waters, and he's out to the 41, 42-yard line.
And that just gets it to 4th and 10 as the Buffalo defense is held. It was Howe again in on the tackle. And the Irish punting team comes on, and the Colorado fans cheer their defense. Craig Hentrick, the punter. And the return man is little Jeff Campbell, 5'9", 170, with the Battle Mountain High School in Vail, Colorado. What a kick. Beautiful spiral. Campbell all the way to his 10. 15. And twisted down at the 18-yard line. Eric Simeon, a freshman from Los Angeles, California, made the tackle. A timeout at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Late in the first quarter, no score, unbeaten Colorado against 4th-ranked Notre Dame. O.J. Simpson is on the Colorado sidelines.
Well, Dick, the last time after the fumble when the Colorado team came to the sideline, they were pretty pumped up. They think they can move the ball on this team. Bill McCartney, the coach, ran into the group. He was real animated, real excited. He said it'd be wide open. He was telling Hagan, the quarterback, John will be wide open. So the only John I see there is John Bowman, the tight end. So I take a look at him. Riley, what's happening on your side to Wiley 1?
Right into your zone, Juice. They're real concerned. Barry Alvarez was asking, what can we do, guys, against this double tight end? They were upset with Jeff Alm. They feel they're running on him. The play action should be there.
There's Barry Alvarez, the defensive coordinator, who was announced today has taken the job as the head coach at the University of Wisconsin, the 3rd Notre Dame assistant to move on to other head coaching opportunities. And Lou Holtz has talked about his own distractions this last week or two with coaches interviewing for jobs. He's lost Jim Strong to UNLV and John Palermo to Austin Peay. From inside the 20, Hagan throws, and there is that tight end. First down at the 33, John Perrick. They have 2 Johns at tight end, Perrick and Bowman.
Well, that time Kissick, number 33, again moved up, as we spoke earlier, into a new formation. We commonly see it in professional football. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and then a single back running a fake counter, and then a seam pass back to wide field. With a big hole on that wide field because Notre Dame began to work to spread their defense with 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers.
16 yards on the play. First down out at the 34. J.J. Flanagan back into the ball game as they're alternating tailbacks on each series, each possession. The enemy ran well, but created the turnover as he tried to exchange the ball from hand to hand, breaking into the open field. So Flanagan, who is a senior from Pomona, California, lightning fast 4.34 40. And on the season, this young star, James Jr., the 3rd, rushed for 1,187 yards to lead the Buffaloes.
They have probably the best combination of tailbacks for what they do in the NCAA.
Here's the little quarterback, and slippery is Hagan. He's out to the 43-yard line, just shy of a first down, a 7-yard pickup. Jeff Alm, number 90, got a hand on him. Terrell assisted on the tackle.
Well, as time passes, this speed that Colorado possesses, both at tailback and at quarterback, can make a difference. Notre Dame is big, strong, powerful, but when it comes to getting off a block and moving against a guy that with more speed than they're used to, could be a problem.
And Hagan has happy feet. He's lightning quick on his feet. Boy, how he is accommodated to this option offense. 3rd and 1. And a big hole for Flanagan, and a first down at the Colorado 49.
Well, Bolkar and Grimm, both inside linebackers, are moving quickly to what they have, and they're getting themselves caught out of position. Now we'll take a look at what they'll do. You'll see both of them right here moving into a play, then the ball breaking right back behind them. You'll see the action right there with a beautiful block by Garten, Joe Garten, most likely the best, well, he's an All-American, the best offensive lineman with Colorado.
On first down, the toss goes to Flanagan, well read by the Irish defense, and there's Todd Light, number 1. Jeff Alm was the one who forced it wide, and Light came up from a corner. Boy, they talk about this Todd Light, both coaches, McCartney and Holtz, and they say the same thing. He's in a league by himself. He's in a higher league.
He
a
really
great
is.
Player.
He's much like Eric Wright we had with the San Francisco 49ers. The same height, range, speed, and instincts.
And that apparently is the end of the first quarter.
And that's the end of the first period of play.
Yes, that is correct. So they played 15 minutes. Tough, emotional football. Colorado a light edge on the offense after one quarter play, but still no score. Not only intense fan interest in this Colorado-Notre Dame game, but the national and international press coverage is enormous. Going back 50 years ago, well, 51 now, the 1939 Orange Bowl, you look up in the top of the press box, there is a handful of cameramen, and you see up on the upper left, WQAM radio covered the game, and now 1,000 credentials have been served to the nation's writers and broadcasters and photographers who will cover this on all fronts. And we have live broadcasts going to Japan and to Brazil. We open the second quarter. Dick Enberg with Bill Walsh, O.J. Simpson, Ralph Wiley, Bob Costas from the Orange Bowl. Colorado opens play from their own 49-yard line. Eric Bieniemy now is the tailback. Hagan has a man open. Eric Kissick, the fullback, and Kissick is inside the 35, the 30, into the 27-yard line. Terrell made the tackle.
Dick, that was an offshoot of the original two tight end concept of play pass. Now we see Kissick breaking across the field, wide open, uncovered. Notre Dame is having such a problem adjusting to this new formation they hadn't seen that they've lost their pass coverage responsibilities. That's two big plays, excellent strategy, excellent planning by McCartney and his staff.
J.J. Flanagan at tailback. He gets the call, has a hole inside the 20 to the 19-yard line.
Colorado's for real, Dick. They really are. They're attacking well. They're playing with poise. They're not intimidated in any sense. And I would be concerned if I were Lou Holtz's staff right now, because if the game wears on, the speed difference will show up in Colorado's favor.
It's the second time in the game in this first half Colorado has penetrated the Notre Dame 20-yard line. The first time Bieniemy fumbled while in the clear, and now it is a second down and 2.
They're doing better inside. Their option game's been cut off by a Notre Dame defense that's systematically disciplined.
But Hagan didn't like what he saw and calls a timeout. He goes to visit with Coach Bill McCartney on the far sidelines. Just underway, 13:47 remaining in the opening half of this Federal Express Orange Bowl. It's scoreless.
In the NFL, this is normally called a solo formation with a single running back. But now Colorado's taken 33 Kissick, their normal fullback, and putting him at tight end. This has somewhat confused that Notre Dame defense. What they've taken is cross both of these people and get this man wide open with a play fake to hold the linebackers. It's well done, and what I'm impressed about is the planning is working out for McCartney and his staff. Beautifully done. This is what they talked about. We watched them practice, and when you can see these things developed in a game plan and then used effectively, they're right on the money.
This is an offense that he has put in just for this game. There's no way Notre Dame could have seen it on any scouting film.
No, he just wanted to not confuse, but force Notre Dame to take and soften their corners up.
Second down and 2, and Hagan's a keeper and has a first down at the 12-yard line of the Irish before Devin McDonald, number 45, can make the stop.
Notre Dame has really handled the wide field option, and Hagan was cut off just a few moments ago for a loss. But they're going into the short side with it now, and Notre Dame didn't handle it primarily because Vanderpool and Pirac did a great job of blocking as a right tackle and tight end.
Two starters not playing on defense for the Irish, Bob Dahl and Andre Jones, who elected to study for final exams rather than practice and study, and so Lou Holtz let them off the team for this Orange Bowl. Hagan caught from behind and twisted down. Kowalkowski and company with a tackle.
Again, Muhlenberg, Vanderpool, two big active men at right guard and right tackle are dominating that side of the line right now, and Hagan's just following them and running between them. You'll see these two men driving people off the line of scrimmage, and Hagan will just follow them through. Right there, nice job. You see Kissick leading and breaking through.
Second down and 7 from the Irish 8-yard line. Flanagan hit in the backfield, and he struggles, loses a yard. Jeff Alm, number 90, was the first man in. A giant right tackle, 6'7" and 270 from Orland Park, Illinois. Went to Sandburg High School. And many feel he'll be a first-round pick in the next NFL draft.
Well, he's considered by Colorado the man to run away from. They've been doing it, but this last time he penetrated to the inside and got to a play he shouldn't have. But he's got the size and he's active. I'm going to be watching him in the third and fourth quarter to see if he can show the stamina it's going to take.
From the 9, third and long. Up the middle goes Kissick, but he gets only to the 5-yard line. And already you can see moving on the Colorado sidelines, Lou Holtz is apparently going to see the field goal unit come on. Volcar made that last tackle. And here comes Ken Culbertson, who missed on only 4 of 17 field goal tries this year. He has a powerful leg, and this isn't much more than an extra point, although he kicks it from the right hash mark. It will be a 22-yard attempt. Tough angle. And it is no good. It was a tough angle, and he shot it wide to the left. So the Irish have held. 2 mistakes by Colorado, a fumble by Bieniemy at the 18-yard line, and now a short field goal missed by Culbertson, and it's still scoreless.
He totally mishit the ball. He's jerked it sideways. I bet he hasn't done that in practice for weeks. Just totally jerked it sideways. This is how the pressures of a game like this work on individual players. I'm sure he'll come back and have his chance.
And Lou Holtz, who has seen his defense unable to stop Colorado totally in this first half, but yet he has to be pleased. It's still 0 on the scoreboard. On a glittering night in southern Florida, it's a silver anniversary year for Goodyear. At the controls of the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise tonight is Captain Dick Esch from Barrington, Illinois. This is the 25th year a Goodyear Blimp has covered the Orange Bowl for NBC. Well, the Irish, after the short 23-yard officially missed field goal by Culbertson, take over at the 20. Ismail in the backfield. Tyler's in motion, a solid blocker. Ismail on the pitch, and he gains 5.
Both Tim Grunhard and Dean Brown, 75, 71, will flop from right to left. They're the 2 big blockers. Colorado knows where the ball's going because 85% of the running plays will go behind those 2 massive men. They're excellent football players, and they're the kind that have dominated throughout their college careers. So wherever they flop to, we'll keep our eye on them.
And Bobby Beathard, as you pointed out, Grunhard often leads you to whether it's run or pass, and then you check Tim Ryan. And even if they pull Grunhard to make it look like a run on a pass, Ryan stays at home, and that's a tip Colorado picked up on the study of films. It's Ismail. Oh, is he stopped quickly after a gain of a yard. Michael Jones, a senior from San Diego, California, there to apply the first hit on Ismail, the fastest man perhaps in college football at 4.28 in the 40. A true rocket.
He's a rocket, but I'll tell you, Dick, those 2 outside linebackers, Alfred Williams, 94, Canavis McGee, 96, are really pinning down the corners of this defense. They're big guys with a lot of leverage. They can reach over people, and they're basically controlling the outside of this game right now.
3rd and 2. It's the tailback, and he doesn't get anywhere. Rodney Culver. And Bill McCartney's defense answering the test as well.
Once again, running behind Grunhard and Dean Brown, and Colorado's just gearing up for that.
There's Canavis McGee, part of the H boys from Houston. He and Williams and Walker, 3 starters in that great high school program down in Houston, Texas. Campbell back at his own 35 as this time. Notre Dame having to punt into the wind. And it's a very short kick off the side of the foot. Takes a Notre Dame bounce and kicks out of bounds at the 40-yard line. So Colorado gets it back. Still no score. 9:13 remaining in this 1990 Federal Express Orange Bowl.
The 1990 Federal Express Orange Bowl is brought to you by Plymouth and your local Plymouth dealers, who invite you to test drive a Plymouth today. By Diet Pepsi. Nothing tackles your thirst like Diet Pepsi and caffeine-free Diet Pepsi, the right ones. And by Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
Welcome back to Miami. Coach Lou Holtz of Notre Dame has a basic rule. You don't practice, you don't play. Two starters, Bob Dahl and Andre Jones, did not practice after the Christmas final exams, and Ralph Wiley has a report.
Bill, Dick, it's like this. In 1978, Lou Holtz suspended Ben Cowens, a running back, before the Orange Bowl in Arkansas. His team blew out Oklahoma. Last year, he suspended a running back, Ricky Waters, and his team blew out USC. The question is, can he suspend two strong defensive players like Bob Dahl and Andre Jones for maybe motivational purposes and get away with it? Back to you.
Yeah, Lou Holtz, a man of principle, and his team well understands it. And in talking to the other players, they had no sympathy for Dahl and Jones. He said, we had to study and take exams as well, and we made it to practice. There can't be two sets of rules. Colorado starts from the 41, and it's the enemy. Oh, he's tough to find, and when you do get to him with those powerful legs of his, you know, he has a 30-inch waist, has to buy special pants because his thighs are 36. A load to bring down at 5'7" and 200.
He's really quick inside, and he, of course, has a very low base. So it's very tough to get a real handle on him to bring him down.
Ball at the 47, 2nd and 4. Colorado, in case you're just joining us, and Notre Dame are scoreless. The Buffaloes have been inside the Irish 20 twice, but came away empty. And a fumble and won a short field goal. Long throw by Hagan. He overshoots everyone. And well covered was M.J. Nelson by Light and Terrell. And that Irish back four has speed to run with anyone.
Well, they were right on top of it. There was never a chance to get a completion out of that play. The Irish have handled the wide field football very, very well. Not only the option, but in this case, a play-action pass, trying to hit a person down the seam. They've got the speed, and they're very, very well coached. What's worked is going into the short side of the field and then breaking on either side of Zorich inside. Those are the things that work. Here's that ace formation we talked about before.
3rd and 4. Big draw. Hagan throws complete to Kissick at the Irish 48. It looks as if it's just enough for a first down. He's inside the 49, and that will be a first down for Colorado.
At this point, no adjustment by Notre Dame to handle this formation with two wide receivers and two tight ends. No adjustment, and so they're getting into the weak side of it. And again, Kissick, number 33, has not handled the ball that much, has rarely caught the ball, and thus far, he's the key ingredient for whatever success Colorado's had.
On first down, Hagan keeps it himself, and in heavy traffic, able to pick up something when there didn't appear to be much there. At the 44, a gain of nearly 5. Meanwhile, at the Sugar Bowl, a game of considerable interest, especially here in southern Florida. The Hurricanes lead the Crimson Tide 7-0. And, of course, Miami fans, University of Miami fans, are rooting, and it's hard for them to do this, rooting for Notre Dame, because they feel an Irish win tonight, combined with a Miami win in the Sugar Bowl, would give the Canes the national title.
And they can't stand Notre Dame. They can't stand them. They're just swallowing hard and trying to.
2nd down and 6. The enemy breaking a tackle, almost lost the ball, juggling it as he fell forward at the 40-yard line. Devin McDonald made the tackle.
That internal quickness of the quarterback and the tailback breaking between people inside has been really very, very successful.
Watch here as the enemy gets hit there, and whoops.
Almost does it again. Volcar was right in the hole. The enemy saw him and just quickly darted sideways and found another running lane.
3rd and a short 2. And a big hole, and it is J.J. Flanagan into the game with a first down at the 31-yard line. Terrell and Kowalkowski with a tackle, and again, the Colorado Buffalo offense moving the ball well.
They're working against the strength of the Notre Dame defense. Chris Zorich, one of the top players coming out of college this year, regardless of year in school. Volcar and Grimm, two excellent linebackers, but these people are so quick, they're breaking right between them before they can respond.
The enemy now, the tailback for the Buffalo. Hagan keeps it. 20.
foot race with Todd Light. And Light speed gets to him and runs him out of bounds at the 12. First down, Colorado.
There's so few players who could catch Hagan in this case. Again, Volcar is down. Beautiful job on Terrell. Now watch him break back now. Strictly a foot race. Two of the fastest people in college football today right there.
And Light saves the touchdown. Man who intercepted 8 passes this year. And census All-America. They spot it closer to the 13. So the third time inside the 20 for Colorado. Will they score this time?
Their history all year, Dick, has been excellent here, but of course they're playing Notre Dame.
Hagan keeps for 3. Kowalkowski, who has been in on a peckful of tackles in this first half, makes another. He's 6'2", 226 from Farmington Hills, Michigan.
The two corner people on the outside, the two outside linebackers, they call them defensive ends, for Notre Dame are not as big and not as active as Colorado's. And right now, they're breaking inside and outside of both of those people.
Colorado.
Kowalkowski and McDonald.
They make their money on the ground. 59 touchdowns, all but 5 on the ground. It's Bieniemy. He's to the 1-yard line. First and goal for Colorado.
Again, it's the darting quickness of Bieniemy inside. Excellent blocking, but watch his quickness breaking between people, and then that drive is so hard to get a hold of.
This young man from West Covina, California, and he's got an engaging smile, and chatting with him during this week. If you're going to have a man as a recruiter on campus to greet high school people, boy, Bieniemy, just on a hello and a smile, you feel like you belong.
What a sweetheart he is, and he's alternated with Flanagan after being the most valuable player.
Bieniemy to the goal line, but he does not get in. At least no signal yet, as DeJuan Francisco came up from a safety spot to meet him in midair. A spectacular midair collision.
They tried to go over the top, and they were just sitting there waiting, leaping right at the same instant. An excellent job.
Well, from that angle, it appeared the ball might have been on the goal line.
Again, they're cutting people down, giving him room, but they're just one man, and that's an excellent tackle inside. He may have scored.
So Francisco saves, but the ball tickling the goal line on second and goal. And it's Hagan straight ahead. And he can't make it. Zorich and company.
Prior to this game, Dick, Colorado had scored a touchdown 30 out of 34 times. They've gotten a first down and goal. 30 out of 34. This shows you the caliber of football Notre Dame plays and what Colorado's up against. They've walked through everyone else when they've gotten here.
Wingback Mike Pritchard is the man sent in with the play by Bill McCartney, as they lost almost a full yard on that sneak. And the Irish fans trying to help their defense. Of Colorado trying to spur. And now action before they even get to the line of scrimmage. Jeff Alm was the man who leaned offside. Number 90.
Alm believes he sees somebody move. At least he responded that way once he was caught. But he thought he saw someone move, and it was offsetting. Apparently he did. It looks as though it could be the left guard conceivably, but he moves before anyone else does.
When the offense jumps offside, with no penalty, you'll replay the down.
So it's third and goal from the 1-yard line. Notre Dame trying to submarine low. Will Hagan go wide? Yes. And he can't make it. That's in possession of Colorado. In possession of Colorado, although the Irish point it's their ball. But it's fourth down now.
Well, they need points, Dick. They desperately need points. They've got to show something now. I'd assume he's going to kick a field goal, although we saw what happened last time.
And the line of scrimmage was the 5-yard line when Culbertson missed a 23-yard field goal. Now it's the 3-yard line. And in they come with the kicking group. And again, it will be from the right hash mark. The same spot, almost identical spot. It'll be a couple of yards shorter. A 20-yard attempt, but from a tough angle right. Jeff Campbell to hold. A fake. And Campbell doesn't make it. Jeff Campbell is stopped at the goal line by Smagala. And Ridgely, 99. Oh, my, the Irish 3 times have denied.
It didn't look like a planned play. There was no pass receiver. The ball was just picked up and ran with. There was nowhere to throw the football. The ball is snapped. No one releasing downfield. It had to be an individual decision. There was nowhere to go with the football.
And Smagala stayed right at home. He played his position brilliantly. He stayed where he belonged and waited for the play to come, and it became a one-on-one. And Smagala nailed him at the 1-yard line. And McCartney's team, the emotions of this evening, going for number 1 and unbeaten. And Lou Holtz's defense has allowed Colorado to move the ball, but has slammed the door at the goal line again. And with 3:31 left in the half, still no score. A major league goal line stand by the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, O.J.
Well, Dick, they got a little help from Chad Brown. He's a linebacker normally. He lines up in the tight end position on goal line and short yardage. He was supposed to release and be a pass receiver. He forgot to release or didn't hear the call, but he wasn't there, and of course they were stopped. Back to you, Dick.
All right, O.J., that took away the option for Campbell of run or pass. He had to run, and Smagala smothered him at the 1-yard line. Now with 3:31 left in this first half, Notre Dame starts from the 1-yard line. Waters is the tailback, 7 yards into his own end zone. Give to Johnson, the fullback, and he stopped after a gain of 2. Center of the Colorado defense, Joel Steed from Denver, 20-year-old sophomore, was there first.
Oh, Dick, the pressures of a game like this. Chad Brown had practiced this play. We saw them do it twice in practice, 2 different days. They didn't feel that Notre Dame could cover a man releasing from that position on the field goal. He goes in the game, his critical time, and it doesn't get him done.
Lou Holtz trying to get a timeout, but Tony Rice, with all the noise, doesn't hear or see it. Moves Derek Brown to the other side. Now Rice does call for time. 2:52 left in the half. Remember, the Irish are going into the wind, and at times that is significant, over 20 miles an hour. So a timeout, late first half, no score. Lou Holtz trying to get the attention. Rocket Ismail on his side, and perhaps Ismail should have been in the game. They tried the bomb from their own end zone to Ismail.
They've done it a number of times, but there's a difference. Rice doesn't have that problem. He has a problem formation-wise right here. So the 2 of them not only weren't coordinated, but they both had reasons to call a timeout in that situation. The pressures of a game like this can be incredible. You sometimes don't think clearly on the most routine things that can occur.
Notre Dame has passed the ball only once in this first half. 16 rushes, 2nd down and 8 from their 3-yard line. It's Rice on a quarterback draw to the 7-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 4. Arthur Walker, the team barber, number 83. Made the tackle. He opens the shop on Thursdays and cuts 10 to 15 heads. He's got some interesting styles.
Is that legal under NCAA?
Well, as long as he doesn't get paid.
Well, Colorado can get the ball back. There isn't any question. They've got their great return man in Campbell. They can force a punt from the end zone if they can make the stop right here.
2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the half. They started it back, a knee down, so 3rd and 5. And Rice from his end zone squeaks out of there and makes a 1st down and more. What an effort. Rice, 1st down at the 24-yard line. They had him inside the 5.
it looked like a potential safety. It looked like he was really in trouble. He didn't have people open. And again, those great instincts that he's possessed, he's hardly lost a game in his career. You see, he's got good protection, nowhere to throw the ball, almost in trouble, but look at that quickness. Look at that great running ability. People knocked off balance, then everybody rallying to block downfield.
Alfred Williams, 94, had a shot at him. The All-America linebacker at the goal line couldn't get him. So now it's the Irish with 1:43 left in the half with better field position. And here comes the Rocket with good blocks into the secondary and stopped at the 40-yard line, a gain of 16. And Avis McGee made the tackle. And now Notre Dame with plenty of time, clock stopping with each first down.
The strong safety didn't show up. Bruce Young wasn't there. Where would he be at this point? There had to be a blown coverage somewhere. Now here they have a foot race. Unfortunately, they make their stops. But there wasn't any support, and they caught it just right.
On the Irish 40-yard line. Will Rice go to the pass now? No. To the tailback Culver, who picks up nearly 5 on a slam straight forward. Walker again makes the tackle. And Bill McCartney, who was an assistant, a defensive coordinator under Bo Schembechler at the University of Michigan. In fact, with all the interest in number 1, many were saying, well, if Bo wins out in Pasadena and everything breaks right, he could be number 1. Do you think he'll be rooting against you? And McCartney, in that solid, smooth way of his, he said, Bo would root for me.
He sure did. 12 years in high school coaching before he ever had a chance at the college level.
On 2nd and 5, Rice. Spearing catch by the tight end Derek Brown. And he has a first down, and the first time that Notre Dame has invaded Colorado territory in this first half. Timeout for the first down as they move the yardsticks. A half-minute remaining for Notre Dame to get at least in field goal position. And they have a good long-range kicker. 2 of them, in fact.
That clock is running. They're down to 27. So they may only get maybe 2 plays before that clock's going to run out on them.
Rice looking deep. Throwing open down the middle is Eilers. First down at the 19-yard line. And timeout Notre Dame. Pat Eilers, who was a junior Olympian slalom skier and rarely gets the call, had only 5 catches all season long.
Colorado just played too soft a defense for the situation. Eilers is simply going to go down the field and break here, but this big hole in the defense, there's so much room that Rice really can't miss. He'll break inside right there in that big hole. He came from the inside rather than the outside.
14 seconds to go, and the Irish have a chance to take the halftime lead. Welcome back to Miami. No score, and stay with us at halftime. I don't think that has anything to do with OJ, but there will be a twist of orange at halftime. Bob Costas and Bobby Beathard, the team reports. And the Notre Dame Fighting Irish trying to end this scoreless first half with some points. 14 seconds remain. Haven't had a scoreless first half in the Orange Bowl since 1938, 52 years ago, when Auburn and Michigan State played. Could be the last play unless the field goal. Draw by Rice and read well, but he still breaks tackles. Almost fumbled. The ball was loosely being grappled for, and Colorado says they haven't. No, they called time. 3 seconds to go. And so Lou Holtz, when Bill McCartney missed a short field goal, misfired on a fake field goal, now Notre Dame will get its chance.
Well, a quarterback draw, a very conservative call at this point in the game. But Lou Holtz just wants, he just lost the ball and just fortunately got the ball on a fumble.
Well, that took an Irish hop in midair. Final seconds of the first half at the Orange Bowl in Miami, and at the Sugar Bowl, Miami has been tied, University of Miami, by Alabama at 7 in the second quarter. Colorado apparently, as they fight for the national title, unbeaten, untied, only major team with a perfect slate. It will be the first time all year they've been held scoreless for the first 2 quarters, and it's a 27-yard field goal attempt on apparently the final play of this first half by Billy Hackett. He has not missed inside the 30 all year, and Colorado is going to ice him. They call timeout.
Well, the 3 points won't be a deadly score. Colorado can certainly come back from it, and they're, in a sense, fortunate that Holtz didn't go for the end zone. just using a quarterback draw, because the quarterback draw not likely to score from that far out. So I guess Lou Holtz was just looking for better position to get 3 points before the half ended. But the way Colorado's been moving the ball, they'll probably be all right. Notre Dame most likely will tire. But I'm sure that the coaching staff at Colorado, if they were to lose this game, to think of all those lost opportunities when they had that ball in close, and some of it was play selection, some of it was just the pressure of the situation, and of course a lot of it was great defense by Notre Dame.
What do you suppose McCartney's saying? Be alert for a possible fake here. Don't make a mistake. Don't run into the kicker.
I'm sure they're talking about those things they've seen Notre Dame do out of this field goal formation.
So with 3 seconds left on the clock in this first half, Hackett, a junior from Florida, played his high school ball at Sarasota, kicked behind Reggie Ho last year, will now attempt a 27-yarder out of Jim Sexton's hold to give the Irish the halftime lead. And Colorado uses its second timeout. And Lou Holtz says, then come on back over here, we'll talk it over. And if anyone can lighten a player with humor, or anyone else, including a huge audience, it's Lou Holtz. Along with Jim Valvano, they're probably the two most entertaining speakers among the athletic coaching fraternity in the country.
Lou Holtz has a remark or an ad-lib for just about every situation. During the press conference, when people were questioning that talk he had to his team with the cameras and the film, and of course the sound, which he's never had to deal with before, he handled it beautifully.
He said, were you upset? And he basically said, that's about the biggest understatement since General Custer said they looked like friendly Indians. Lou Holtz, who played at Kent State briefly as a linebacker. He knows well the pressures on McCartney in Colorado. He took the national title last year. And now finally, apparently, the attempt by Hackett.
And it appeared to be blocked. Oh my, and that's how the first half ends. No score. Holtz and McCartney take their teams to the locker room, and they'll play 30 minutes for the national championship.
They went up inside, and they had their two large people. I didn't get the numbers, but most likely those two tall linebackers. Of course, there's Walker right over the top, and they leaped. So they attacked to knock the lineman back, then leaped up over the top and made the play.
No scores and no penalties the entire first half.
Right here, get a running start right up over the top with great push. There are the plays. Don't think they haven't rehearsed that before, too. This extra time they get for this kind of a bowl game, they can practice those special techniques to deal with a field goal. The push inside helps.
27 was Greg Thomas. Gary Howe was 95. And it appeared it might have been Howe, the defensive lineman, who got a piece of it.
And he's 6 feet tall, so his penetration may have made the difference. But they sure attacked inside and got the job done. What a game. The electricity, I can't believe, Dick. I've been in all kind of pressure situations myself, and I can't handle the pressure. Wow.
Well, Bill McCartney saw his offense drive 3 times into scoring territory, and a fumble, a missed field goal, and a misplayed fake field goal denied him, but he closes on an upbeat as he blocks Notre Dame's chance for the lead.
The 1990 Federal Express Orange Bowl is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Hot, fresh, delicious pan pizza. Domino's Pan Pizza. Nobody delivers better. And by Northwest Airlines. In everything they do, they want to be the best.
All right, Bob Costas back along with Bobby Beathard, and of all the things we might have expected, this wasn't it. A scoreless first half. You just saw the Notre Dame field goal attempt as time expired by Hackett, blocked. But really, Colorado is the team, Bobby, that has reason for regret. 3 times inside the 20 and coming away with nothing. Once they fumble the ball away. On another occasion, Culbertson misses about as badly as you can miss on a short field goal attempt. Then they have 1st and goal at the 1, and they are stopped and finally fake the field goal attempt and don't get it.
Yeah, Colorado really came out of this half lucky, Bob, because the momentum completely changed after the goal line stand. A little bit of air went out of their balloon when Bieniemy fumbled. This was just one of the opportunities that they blew. Right there, he loses the ball. But they came back. They still had the momentum. They were pushing Notre Dame around. This one, it looks like he scored. I don't know if that was a good call by the officials. But this one, here's the big play. The holder, Jeff Campbell, leaves too early on the fake field goal and doesn't fool anybody. Had he stayed there a little longer, this might have been successful.
You know, Bobby, when they had the 1st and goal at the 1-yard line, it was really strength against strength. Colorado scored 54 rushing touchdowns this year, 2nd in the nation in rushing offense. Notre Dame allowed only 5 rushing touchdowns by their defense all season long. And on this occasion, 3 straight times, Notre Dame turned them away with the help of a disputed call, and then the fake field goal attempt backfires. All right, so Colorado and Notre Dame tied scoreless at halftime. Now, here are the scores of other games. Miami has just scored on a Craig Erickson 18-yard touchdown pass to Wesley Carroll in the 2nd quarter at the Sugar Bowl. Miami with a possibility, depending upon what happens here, of emerging from all this bowl madness today as the national champion, and the Hurricanes lead the Crimson Tide 13-7. Michigan's slim chance was finished today in the Rose Bowl as Southern Cal scored late with less than 2 minutes remaining, and they prevailed 17-10 in Bo Schembechler's final game. And we'll go back to the Notre Dame band when we come back following these messages. Halftime at the Orange Bowl, and surprisingly no score, the Buffaloes and the Fighting Irish. Big halftime show, as always, at the Orange Bowl, part of it featuring Chubby Checker. But for now, here's the Notre Dame band. Let's listen.
The band concludes today's performance by forming the traditional ND and by playing the greatest of all fight songs, the Notre Dame Victory March.
Halftime activities continue from the Orange Bowl when we come back to Miami with a glimpse of the Colorado marching band following these messages.
All-American halfback. Rhodes Scholar. Decorated naval officer. Justice, United States Supreme Court. 1937. Byron White sets the standard for student athletes at the University of Colorado, graduating Phi Beta Kappa as he captures a national rushing title and leads his team to an undefeated season. In 1961, University of Colorado's Joe Romick matches those high standards. Number 67, All-American linebacker. Rhodes Scholar. Teacher at CU. And astrophysicist, now working on NASA's Voyager space project.
I think from the standpoint of the student athlete, it's important for them to take full advantage of the academic education that's being given them, which is going to give them a lot of options in their life.
100 years of Colorado football. Commitment to the student athlete.
The preceding message was furnished by the Orange Bowl Committee on behalf of the University of Colorado.
About midway through the second quarter, Miami continues to lead Alabama 13-7 in the Sugar Bowl. And now here's a look at the Colorado marching band at the Orange Bowl. In the Sugar Bowl at the Superdome in New Orleans, Alabama just kicked a field goal. The Crimson Tide trims Miami's lead to 13-10 in the second quarter. We'll be back with the Orange Bowl halftime show, but first, we check with NBC News and Tom Brokaw. They've turned the lights out all around us in anticipation of the start of the usually spectacular Orange Bowl halftime program. This one is appropriately entitled A Twist of Orange because it features Chubby Checker. No score, Colorado and Notre Dame. And a quick check over at the Sugar Bowl. It remains Miami 13, Alabama 10. About 5 minutes to play in the second quarter.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend.
See the lights.
What a sight! You're gonna see the show.
It's the Dynamo.
Just a twist of orange from the Orange Bowl.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Orange Bowl Committee presents its halftime pageantry entitled A Twist of Orange. With Garfield the Cat, the Energizer Bunny, Gunther Gable Williams of the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, television's Audrey Landers, along with composer-singer Paul Williams, and starring Chubby Checker.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome to the show.
Audrey Landers and Paul Williams.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a woman insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, grateful to fire. I laughed and laughed 'cause I thought it was funny. You came along and you moved me, honey. I changed my mind love song. Yeah, coming down in 3/4 harmony. That's just an old-fashioned love song. One I'm sure they wrote for you and me. Dancing in the dark to the tune ends with dancing in the dark, and it soon ends with waltzing in the wonder of why we're here. Time passes by, we're here and gone, looking for the light, the new love to brighten up the night. I have you, love, and we can make the music together, dancing in the dark.
We're gonna rock and roll, gonna shimmy and shake. We're gonna get down and break. So get out the way, give us some room. Here comes the big band boom.
Here they are, Gunther Gable Williams and the Dancing Elephants.
Bim bam boom, that's all you have to do. Bim bam boom, let out the beast in you. Back to the little baby, 1, 2, 3. Hey, come on, bim bam boom with me.
We're gonna bend to the left, back to the right. We're gonna boom boom tonight. We're gonna twist and shout, knock ourselves out. That's what it's all about. Hey,
Bim bam boom, that's all you have to do. Bim bam boom.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Twisting Elephants, only here on NBC. Orange Bowl halftime thank yous go to Steve Hatchell, the executive director of the Orange Bowl, Danny Beck, the choreographer, Bill Ledoux, the pageant director, and Rod McBrien, the music arranger. Earlier today, the Orange Bowl committee made this special presentation.
As the 56th president of the Orange Bowl Committee, it's my pleasure to announce the first corporate sponsor in the history of this great event, the Federal Express Corporation. And David Schoenfeld, the Vice President for International Marketing, is here to make a very special announcement to all of us.
Thank you very much, Tom. On behalf of the company's 80,000 employees worldwide, we're very honored to be so closely associated with this fine bowl. Tonight's game features the best in college football. And while Colorado and Notre Dame may be battling it out on the field, both schools share a common dream of a cancer-free world. Colorado has dedicated its season to its talented quarterback, Sal Anisi, who was lost to cancer earlier this season. Notre Dame has introduced a new campaign called Stop Cancer to the university community and will be launching its activities with a benefit dinner next month. Federal Express can find no more appropriate way to support the activities of both these schools than presenting this check for $25,000 to the executive director of Stop Cancer, Denver Frederick.
Thank you, Dave. Stop Cancer was founded by Dr. Armand Hammer, chairman of President Bush's cancer panel, to speed the search for the cure of this terrible disease. This is a one-time crusade dedicated exclusively to funding cancer research. The campaign will run for 3 years from tonight, and every American citizen is urged to participate to assure success. Federal Express, thank you for this contribution and for the opportunity to bring to America's attention this campaign to stop cancer.
All right, back now, halftime at the Orange Bowl, no score, Colorado and Notre Dame. Alabama and Miami going at it in the Sugar Bowl being played at the Superdome in New Orleans. The Hurricanes with about 3 minutes to play in the first half leading 20-10, but Alabama driving in the vicinity of the Miami 10-yard line as we speak. Earlier today in the Rose Bowl, whatever chance Michigan had to sneak in as the national champion went out the window when USC defeated them 17-10 in Bo Schembechler's final game. Bookend defeats wrapped around 10 consecutive victories for the Wolverines. They lost their first one to Notre Dame. They won 10 straight, and then they lose to USC in the Rose Bowl. Earlier today on NBC in the Hall of Fame Bowl, Auburn is a winner over Ohio State, 31-14. Tennessee finishes up at 11-1 for Johnny Majors. They withstood a late rally by Arkansas, and they win in the Cotton Bowl 31-27. Freshman Chuck Webb with 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, one of them a 78-yard run. Illinois defeats Virginia in the Florida Citrus Bowl. Jeff George throwing for 3 touchdowns, 31-21, the final score there. And Florida State was all over Nebraska in the Sunkist Fiesta Bowl, also seen on NBC, 41-17. And though Florida State finishes at 10-2 for Bobby Bowden, you could make a good case that as the season comes to a close, they're an equal of any team in the land. On a neutral field, Florida State could probably hold their own with any of the other national championship contenders. All right, let's go to the sidelines. O.J. Simpson has spent the day tracking the Colorado Buffaloes. Juice?
Well, Bobby, what Colorado is trying to do is build on the first half. They felt they outplayed them in the first half. Normally, a team could be depressed and down. Fortunately, they were able to block a field goal to end that first half. They went in the locker room pretty high. They were reminding one another about Lou Holtz's pep talk that was eavesdropped on by Colorado TV station earlier in the week. They were saying, well, we'll see, Lou, about the third quarter. We'll see about the third quarter. The third quarter is ours. So this team is still a pretty pumped football team. They feel that they outplayed them in the first half, and I assume what they're going to do is come out in the second half and do exactly what they did the first half. Ralph, what's happening on your side of the field?
Well, O.J., they better not do exactly what they did in the first half because Notre Dame is going to stack their linebackers behind their defensive tackles against that double tight end set. And Lou Holtz was very patient with his receivers. He wants to throw the ball, but his receivers need to read the defenses better. He told tight end Derek Brown, look, you work off the defense. They have to cover Rocket. They're going to leave you uncovered underneath. It worked in the last drive, although they got the field goal block. Notre Dame's got to pass the ball. Back to you, Bob.
All right, Ralph, and as you were giving us that report, in the Sugar Bowl, Alabama scored. They kicked the extra point. They now trail Miami 20-17. The Crimson Tide hanging in there. And we go back upstairs to Dick Enberg and Bill Walsh.
All right, Bob, and a reminder, remember Notre Dame won the toss and they deferred to the second half, so the Irish will get the ball first in the second half on the kickoff. Well, O.J. alluded to Lou Holtz's comments eavesdropping during the course of the week at practice. Here's what Holtz said.
Number one, you're used to scoring a lot of points. You ain't playing any Kansas State. You're used to scoring a lot of points. You've got to be patient on defense. Frustration will set in on Colorado's offense. By the middle of the third quarter, they will leave their game plan completely and they'll start grab bagging. Remember me telling you that.
And so Lou Holtz, Bill Walsh, saying that frustration would set in on the Colorado offense and they'd start grab bagging it. Your reaction now, and was he prophetic or not?
Well, it had been 3-0. If Notre Dame had kicked that field goal, you never know. But the score's even. Colorado knows they can move the ball. Lou may have been prophetic, but I think if Colorado can score first, they'll be all right. If Notre Dame scores first, look out.
You think we'll see either team trying to pass more?
Well, they should. There are people open. They're just not executing. Notre Dame's had 3 or 4 good plays. That's all the entire first half, while Colorado had 15 or 20. So if Colorado keeps it up, Notre Dame's going to have to finally pass to win.
I'm smiling because both coaches said, boy, Bill Walsh, he'll go crazy in this game. The only time we pass is backwards. That's not his style, Bob.
All right, Dick, thanks very much. And quickly, Bobby Beathard, what do you look for in the second half?
I think the momentum has changed to Notre Dame because of the 3 missed opportunities. So I look like it looks like an uneven game the second half in favor of Notre Dame.
Of course, Colorado came in here knowing if they won, they'd be the national champion. Didn't matter what happened anywhere else. But Notre Dame now might sneak a glimpse at the scoreboard because Alabama's hanging close, trailing Miami only 20-17. If Alabama upsets the Hurricanes and if Notre Dame wins here, it is very possible, maybe even likely, that the Fighting Irish will be #1 again. Back to Dick and Bill.
And the Irish will get the football and will learn in a hurry if there are any new surprises that the two coaches will pull as we go 30 minutes to a national championship. And obviously Colorado, should they win unbeaten, untied, one would figure that they then would be crowned as champions here for the 1989 season, with a finale here in 1990. But Lou Holtz with a victory combined with the positive result from Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. He then could claim the championship.
Dick, look for a short kick up high around the 30-yard line. They think they can beat the Notre Dame people down to the ball, and they can nullify Rocket's great ability to return a kickoff.
Ball taken by an up-back, 85, Eric Simeon, a linebacker. They kept it away from Ismail, and McCartney will take that all night. Kicking with the wind, they thought they might go deep, try to kick it through the end zone, but not taking any chances, and Greg Beekert was down to cover the linebacker. So we begin from the Irish 32-yard line. Is this the Cinderella season for McCartney and the fans from Boulder, the University of Colorado, or will the Irish dominate again? It's Tony Rice who led the Irish, and he's nailed at the 30-yard line as Terry Johnson, 48, came in from his linebacker position to make the hit.
Well, he's going to be coming to the outside here and getting to the ball. But the key is the people down the line of scrimmage breaking that up. Those two big linebackers taking things apart so that the inside linebackers can come right out and make a play. Again, Alfred Williams and McGee are big factors against the Notre Dame running game.
Rice now with 35 yards rushing. He leads the Irish. The enemy with 53, Hagan 52 for Colorado the first half. Rice throwing long downfield for Ismail. And they're going to throw a flag. No flag. Incidental contact as the coverage from Tim James, number 17, on Ismail.
Well, James is making a play on a ball. He didn't necessarily have to run as fast as Ismail to get to it. So he was there to make his play. He's looking at the ball, gearing in, and Ismail actually makes contact with him. So no foul. But the ominous part of that, Dick, no pressure on the passer, none whatsoever. And Rice could have run as easily as thrown the ball.
3rd down and 12. Ismail, they have their eye defensively on him on each play. Comes out as a wing to the right. Anthony Johnson, the fullback, behind Rice. And they go back to throw. Rice down the middle. Caught. Tony Smith. A sophomore from Gary, Indiana, gives the Irish a first down at the Colorado 43.
Well, they're going to sprint out, and they have the entire wide field, but there's not enough heat on the inside and really no hold up. So you see a zone defense, a man open right in the middle without any coverage people able to converge on the ball quickly enough. Again, the deep people for Colorado, it showed up late in the first half, are sitting back too deep before they respond to what happens in front of them.
Smith brought only 2 passes all year. That one was for 27 yards. Now the option, Rice. Stopped at the 40-yard line after a gain of 3 as Joel Steed and Terry Johnson made the hit.
Again, Williams, big linebacker, along that line of scrimmage, unblockable, and he forced Rice to keep the ball and break up inside. That part looks okay for Colorado, but Notre Dame, their passing game, as Bobby Beathard sort of prophesized to us, could be the difference here because they're just too soft in the deep secondary and too tight up close to the line of scrimmage.
Anthony Johnson breaks tackles. He's at the 25 in the open. And cut down from behind at the 10-yard line. Saving the touchdown was Bruce Young, number 7. Mike helped the center with a key block.
Well, Colorado was caught playing for the pass. They had people retreating down the line of scrimmage, and the linebackers were softening up. That gave the room for people, forced the defensive backs to try to come make the play. So that time the Notre Dame strategy of sprinting out to wide field helped them with their running game.
Well, that was a brilliant saving tackle, hustling back by Bruce Young. First down at the 10-yard line, just outside the 10. The toss to Ismail. He's got the speed, and the rocket is to the 1-yard line. Young again, saving a touchdown back-to-back.
Colorado's there's their moment of truth. Not so much this, if there is a score, but being behind almost for the first time this year and dealing with the pressure of the game.
Ismail is very tough and very strong for his size, 175 pounds, but great leg drive. Second down, and they can make a first down without a touchdown. The ball is on the 1-yard line. Johnson. Touchdown. And you bet the Irish fans are cheering the last time Notre Dame scored an offensive touchdown here in the Orange Bowl was in 1985 when they were bombed by Miami 58-7. That is the only Notre Dame offensive touchdown in a decade of the 80s in the Orange Bowl, and this now 5 games.
Colorado's going to have to group up, not panic, and it's not so much McCartney. If there's anyone else calling the plays, it can be an assistant coach, an offensive coordinator, that he can lose his patience or panic slightly, and the play calling can turn in another direction. Plenty of time to score any number of points, so Colorado can't lose their patience.
Hendrick, perhaps unnerved by the blocked field goal, but he nails that one through, and the Irish have broken the scoreless duel 7-0 early in the 3rd period.
Tight play, but they're in so close, and Johnson so strong running up underneath that he scored easily.
63 yards after the kickoff and 7 impressive plays.
The 1990 Federal Express Orange Bowl is brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer. By Federal Express, the best way to ship it over there. By the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the rock. And by Magnavox, smart choices for smart people. Magnavox, smart, very smart.
3 key plays on the drive: the Rice to Smith pass, the run by Johnson, and this run by Ismail.
You'll see people working outside. That time, Derek Brown, the big tight end, blocked Alfred Williams. Williams didn't think he could do that. All week, they felt that Williams could knock Brown back into the backfield. That time, the position blocking worked, and the speed of Ismail made the difference.
So now Hendrick will kick it off into the wind. And And again, they'll use that huddle with Henry coming up, trying to deny Colorado any chance of knowing who's covering whom and what man to block. Now it comes to Pritchard, number 9. Reverses his heel. 30 and to the 34-yard line. So all things considered, a good return for Colorado. The tackle by Michael Smalls. Well, this weekend, we hope you'll join us on NBC NFL Live. We'll kick things off on noon Saturday, Buffalo at Cleveland. And then on Sunday, Bill and I will be out at Mile High Stadium. What a year for football fans of Colorado, Pittsburgh, and Denver. 3:30 for NFL Live, and there they are. Let's go to the telestrator. Something might be missing.
This man is heading this way to see the ocean, and he's going to be on a surfboard.
Apparently the new general manager of the San Diego Chargers, and we wish Bobby Beathard well. 7-0 Notre Dame. And J.J. Flanagan runs right into the big paws of Jeff Alm.
Alm was unblocked in a sense. You can see him right in front of you coming inside, and Kissick playing tight end, number 33, only 215 pounds, was trying to handle Alm. He's never done it before, so the strategy of putting Kissick at tight end didn't quite work out that time.
Look at that helmet. Do you think there have been some collisions for Alm in his senior year? It's a long 10 as Hagan gets a block. Throws downfield, throws it away. No one there. Well covered again. And Zorich was the man right in the thick of things pursuing Darian Hagan. Hagan, with all those quick feet and a strong arm, is an outstanding baseball player. And in fact, that was a possibility for him out of high school. Hagan was a switch-hitting shortstop and drafted in the 7th round by the Seattle Mariners.
Hagan takes a big shot here. He throws the ball away, but people are still after him. Oh, gee. Oh, to the head. There should have been a foul.
And no penalty flag. We haven't had a penalty marked off in the game thus far. We had negating penalties down in the goal line, if you recall, when Colorado was trying to go in from the 1-yard line.
Francisco, an elbow right to the face. An official there, not called.
Notre Dame marching impressively and now trying to stall Colorado. Hagan, a quick toss. Incomplete and intercepted by Notre Dame at the 46-yard line. On the deflection, it was Ned Boltar, the captain. It was Boltar on this field who ran 49 yards with an interception and a touchdown against Miami in their defeat.
Boltar just drops out of the line of scrimmage, trying to throw a little seam pass over his head. It's just maybe 6 inches short. Tap back and forth. That's one of the real problems of throwing against that defense. Zone defense, seam pass.
So Perrican trying to juggle for the catch, knocked it right into the arms of the Irish.
Bill and Dick, Todd Light, the cornerback, the great cornerback, just told Pat Carroll there's no way they're going to beat us passing the football. On the other side of the coin, Raghib Ismail, with Ricky Waters being injured, is taking on triple duty and really hurting the Colorado defense, stretching it by running deep patterns, quick outside out of the backfield on carries. Colorado's being tested right now.
Yeah, the talent of a great player is not just when he has the ball, but what he does away from the ball as well. And with the tension that he draws because of that frightening speed, a scary player, as the Colorado coaches have described him, he's done a job. Now can Colorado hold after turning the ball over in their own half of the field at the 46? It's Ismail, hit down after a gain of a yard. Charging through is Terry Johnson and Arthur Walker.
Biggest drive of the year for Colorado right now. Field position for Notre Dame, a 7-0 lead. If Notre Dame were to score now, Colorado would have a brutal time trying to come back with their style of offense. So this is absolutely critical that they hold them at least to a field goal where they can come back and make plays.
Halftime score, Miami leading by 3 in the Sugar Bowl over Alabama. 2nd and 9. Rice breaking a tackle and then smothered behind the line of scrimmage, and a vicious charge from the left side defensively of Colorado. Arthur Walker in there.
Colorado jumped into their stacked defense. Again, the big linebacker sitting there taking everything apart. So Williams and McGee on either side have been able to handle the option play. It's what happens up inside with Johnson running the ball and then, of course, throwing.
A Possible passing down, 3rd and 9. It's Eilers in the slot with Smith split way out to the left. Rice underneath to Johnson. It works. 1st down and more. And Anthony Johnson's to the 33-yard line.
Well, Greg Thomas, number 27, missed a key tackle. He had the play stopped for less than the 1st down, a little short of it, but the one-on-one tackles downfield in college football, I really note now that you have to make those downfield tackles very cleanly because everyone else is isolated. Here's the play. We just lose it right there. 2 misses right there. Again, dropped heads, losing their fundamental position, and that can make the difference in this ball game right now.
12-yard gain when they needed just 9. Leading 7-0, 9 minutes left, 3rd quarter. It's Rice on the roll. Davis McGee couldn't get him, and he's finally pushed out of bounds by Bruce Young, and a flag goes down. And it appears to be holding against Notre Dame.
Bruce Young was down too, Dick. He's on the sideline.
And if indeed this will be a penalty that is marched off, it'll be the first of the entire game.
We have holding on the offense. Still 1st down. 10-yard penalty.
And on the far sidelines, Young is still down. Referee Dale Phillips heading this ACC crew. Young is 26 years old. He stayed out of football, out of college, 5 years after high school. Worked with his dad in construction, and then elected to go to school. Went to junior college, Long Beach City College in California, and then on to Boulder and the University of Colorado. He's a key tackler in that back line defense. So they're without him now. 1st down after the penalty. This is Reggie Brooks, and the freshman from Tulsa, Oklahoma, who carried only 13 times, shows his outside speed, but is brought down at the 30, and another flag is down in the backfield of Notre Dame.
It appears that Derek Brown was holding Alfred Williams and actually pulled him to the ground. That's why the thing opened up, because in the past Williams has been dominating and going down that line of scrimmage. So there could be another holding penalty here. And this South.
We have a clip on the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty. Still be 1st down.
A major penalty of 15 yards on the clipping call, and that'll march the football back into Notre Dame's half of the field.
Well, that's the salvation at this point. Colorado is able possibly to regroup, getting not these breaks, but these infractions by Notre Dame. And this can save them. You're going to see it here, and you can see a man moving, but then he'll lose him right here, and there'll be a hold. See right here, and now he's grabbing and holding and pushing him down. That was the difference. That's really a foul that's almost seen every time because there's a head linesman and a referee that can see it.
And yet the call was clipping. That didn't appear to be a clip. Might have been something else as well. 1st and 31. Rice throws. It's caught by Eilers again. And he's tough. Down to the 35-yard line. They pick up big yardage. Almost back to the original line of scrimmage on this series.
Well, it was between Eiler and Dave McClellan. Dave McClellan, the best coverage man that the Buffaloes have to offer. And it's a zone defense. You see McClellan backing up. Now the ball's in the air. Now they go work for it. But Eilers gets his body in position. So McClellan can't do much about it.
A couple of big catches by Eilers, who had only 5 all year. 2 major grabs. That one for 18 yards. He's from St. Paul, Minnesota. Spent his freshman year at Yale, so he liked the academics. He wanted to recruit to play at a major college football level and walked down at Notre Dame. Rice again, he throws this one into the ground. Anthony Johnson was out in the flat, as was William Pollard.
Very difficult throw, running, sprinting almost parallel to the line of scrimmage left and throwing right-handed. So he just didn't get his body in position and get the balance he needed.
Tony Rice, who has led the Irish in rushing each of the last 2 years, has broken all the Notre Dame records in that regard. In fact, was the first quarterback rushing leader since Horning in 1956, Paul Horning, and then followed last year's 700-yard rushing season with 884 this year. On third down. They bring a linebacker. It's a reverse to Raghib, Ismail, and he might go all the way. It's going to be a touchdown, Notre Dame. So dangerous as a kick returner, as a pass receiver, as a rusher out of the backfield, and this time on the reverse, 35 yards.
An inside blitz with 3 people working inside, only Williams to contain the play, and all they had to do was get past Williams, who was really in pretty good position, but they lost all of their pursuit by blitzing up inside, expecting, I assume, a pass.
Enberg just does get the extra point through, and it's 14-0.
Here we have the blitzing up inside with people finally pursuing, but only one man to contain it. Once he got by him, it was all over. So Williams is coming up the field basically unblocked, but he misses the tackle. He's not in position to make it. Everyone else is set up to block. It's gone all the way, but really, Williams was there to make the play for a big loss. So critical. You see the reverse starting, and a man right there to make the stop who wasn't in balance, who didn't see the reverse coming, then everyone else is cut down. Now the speed begins to be a factor.
Great blocks by Anthony Johnson and big Tim Grunard to clear the way for Ismail. 14-0, Notre Dame.
Well, we get a good look at the reverse. We've got our contained man here, but it's beautifully executed. First, the tackle's about to be made right here, not in position. But watch Notre Dame people begin to enter the screen to our right, and blocks were made all the way throughout the field, and everyone's in position all the way down the field. Beautifully done and beautifully rehearsed. And what a call. It was the most unlikely call in that situation, but it was just a combination of a blitz for the first time all night for Colorado and a reverse for the first time for Notre Dame.
And it came after the deflected pass and the interception, 46 yards in 6 plays, and Notre Dame converted twice on third down, and that was a 3rd and 13 play. A squib kick down into the screen, picked up by an up back. He was down.
Well, again, poise is a key, a critical key at this point for Colorado. They just can't totally depart from their basic game plan. As Lou Holtz, in a sense, prophesized, if they come apart here, if we recall that talk he gave his team, it's prophetic, because here we are, Colorado is going to have to hang on to the things they've done well all year.
Eric Kissick was the man who took the kickoff, but his knee was down at the 35. And suddenly the Irish really smothering that ground game inside. Zorich and Olm to make the hit on Flanagan.
The Buffaloes are going to have to just look to get the breaks now. They're not the kind of team that's going to come back from a 14-0 score, but if they keep the pressure on and keep their poise, they're going to have to look for breaks to make the difference. And that break would be another penalty or 2 on Notre Dame and hopefully a turnover.
Haven't trailed all season long, so the character of Colorado tested by Notre Dame in the second half of the Orange Bowl, and caught from behind as Olm shot through and grabbed the quarterback before he could even make a move.
Well, it looked as though there was a blocking assignment breakdown because no one blocked him. He's going to come straight through and just make a play. It's that simple. Right up the field, they pull a guard, and they just don't get the play off center because Coleman didn't step with his near foot, and he didn't get his helmet in front to cut off that penetration.
Colorado fortunate there was no fumble. Olm got there so quickly. His second tackle for a loss today. Hagan on the scramble. Gets a block, gets another block, and finally gets out of bounds. What a dance, and a first down at the 46-yard line. Oh, the talent of the young man there. You want to talk about quick feet. Look at him work.
almost a desperate move. He had a man downfield to his left, but he doesn't throw the ball because we get Zurich there again. But now watch this speed. Some excellent spontaneous plays outside, and that great athletic ability gets him his first down. Again, Colorado rallied as Notre Dame did just a moment ago on that play and got some downfield blocks that saved the first down.
Hagan was 5th in the Heisman balloting, just behind Tony Rice. Oh, dazzling on that run as he scrambles for 16 and a first down to his 45. Kissick, and the fullback gets only a couple before Devin McDonald makes the stop.
Well, those are low percentage plays. Kissick is not obviously a main ball carrier, a main factor, but they want to hold that defense static. But right now, Notre Dame's coming off the edges of the defense and cutting off the option plays.
Saw Campbell come in and Nelson go out as they bring in a play from Bill McCartney. 5:19 left, third quarter. Notre Dame has built a 14-0 lead. Pritchard in motion. The enemy. He makes things happen, and a first down at the Notre Dame 43. Kowalkowski made the tackle. He just seems quicker out of the blocks than the other tailbacks.
Well, he's breaking back that time behind George, which they did in the first quarter and had a lot of success. But that's the first time that play's been called or utilized since the first quarter of the game, and when they made all those yards and had their good drive.
Freshman Eric Jones from Portage, Indiana, and Brian Flannery from Lakewood, Ohio are in the defensive line now for Notre Dame. Hagan vaulting inside the 40. Kowalkowski leading the charge defensively, a gain of about 3.
Again, Vanderpool and Muhlenberg, the right guard and right tackle, got off the ball well, and Hagan followed them into the hole. Really no option. There was an option play, but he just used that blocking to get those yards again, which they did in those first drives, first quarter and early second quarter. Time's a factor now, but they are still able to move the ball.
6 rushes on this sequence, although one was intended to be a pass, and Hagan back to throw. Incomplete for Campbell. Eric Jones, the freshman, number 81, Indiana Jones, was pressuring Hagan.
Hagan again had unblocked people coming right up inside, so he had to get rid of the ball prematurely. Offensively, the pass protection part of it hasn't been good for Hagan. The offensive line has not been able to sustain their blocks against the strength of Notre Dame. I thought the Irish would slow down physically at some point against the quickness, but as of now, they haven't.
Now, Lou Holtz is using a lot of substitutes, a lot of young players, freshmen like Jones, and they're delivering. Hagan. Incomplete. Intended for the tight end, John Perrick, and Juan Francisco. His brother Hiawatha also played with the Irish.
It just takes so much practice to develop a passing game with a lot of consistency. And these plays are well designed, but they're out of sync. The ball was thrown early, and Perrick stopped initially before he should have, and it was an incomplete pass.
4th down and 6, and Tom Ruin, the nation's top punter, comes in. No one back for Notre Dame. Ruin following Keith English last year and Barry Helton, now kicking with the 49ers as national champions at Colorado. And he's just going to try to punch one high and down near that goal line. No one back for Notre Dame. It could be fair caught, and he'll let it roll to the 5-yard line. Down by number 59, Michael Jones, the linebacker, 34-yard punt. Notre Dame has the ball again with a 2-touchdown lead.
Well, I'm standing on the sideline with the offensive unit here right to my right from Colorado. They're having a lot of problems in the center of their offensive line. You're looking at Mike Berry. He's the center and guards coach. He's been getting a lot of heat from Coach McCartney saying what's happening. They have a young, shifty running back, little guys. They like to cut back, and they can't cut back because these guys are not walling off the backside. This entire second half, we've had that chalkboard trying to tell these guys they got to wall off that backside. That's what's happening over here, Ralph. What's happening over there?
Pretty simple. Ricky Waters, the tailback, can't go. Worst news of the night for Colorado. Rocket Ismail's game is very simple. The touchdown play was called reverse 8. Simple player. You can't catch what you can't see. He's the fastest. He's playing tailback and flanker. He came over to Ricky Waters and said, that one was for you. Lou Holtz took off his headset, congratulated Ricky Waters on a great year, and said, Rocket, get back in there.
Waters, a junior, will have another chance. He's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You see, he will not play the rest of the evening. Seltzer, a freshman, is in the lineup, and Tony Rice gets a tough 1 yard on the version of a draw. Notre Dame stymied most of the first half, had a chance to score in its final possession of the first half, and had a blocked field goal after a long drive. The turning point of the game was the great goal line stand by the Irish late in the second quarter. And now 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns in the second half for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's been backed up like this earlier and came all the way out and had that field goal block. Colorado definitely has to stop them here and get field position when they punt.
Ismail slow down and drop inside his 10-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Alfred Williams, an All-American, number 94, in on the tackle.
Well, Chad Brown, an excellent linebacker who's become a starter at this point, makes an excellent play as he breaks up inside, keeps his head up, meets his blocker, then good position. He gets help from the backside from Williams.
Ismail now 8 carries for 75 yards. As the Colorado defense digs in, trying to stop Rice, who has had his biggest plays on 3rd down. 3rd down, 6. Rocket again. And he's dragged down from behind by Williams, who led the Big 8 with 10.5 sacks, was the defensive player of the year in the Big 8 conference, and Notre Dame will have to punt from deep in their own end.
It was an excellent job from the outside linebacking. Again, Williams, good call because they just can't take any chances, but he penetrates and then cuts the whole thing down.
Williams, who was a basketball star in Houston, using the jersey to bring down Ismail.
This is the biggest punt return of the year for Campbell. One of the best return people. The best punt return in football.
10 men on the line of scrimmage. It might have been partially blocked. Takes a good Notre Dame bounce. Boy, a terrific bounce for the Irish, and all the way to the Colorado 47-yard line, fumbling the snap, and lucky that one wasn't blocked. A 41-yard kick out of desperation by the freshman.
A very fortunate play for Notre Dame, because he drops the ball here. Not that it would have been blocked, but he gets off a ball that bounces.
And a timeout with 1:41 to go in the third. Notre Dame's Fighting Irish, the team and the school with the greatest of all football traditions and the most successes, trying to deny Colorado in its centennial year its first national title. 14-0, final minutes of the 3rd quarter. Darian Hagan, the sophomore from Los Angeles. He played behind Sal Inessi, the young man who died at 21 earlier this year during the season. Hagan with a toss to Flanagan. Flanagan around the corner, and he's to the Notre Dame 45-yard line and a gain of 8 before Francisco can make the tackle. And Hagan getting hit as he made the toss, apparently okay. Hagan said that what Inessi gave him, he was young, he was playing behind someone he figured would be around. He said, I was a little bit careless. He taught me to become a man at 19. He said, I had to call upon the spirit and the fight that he had shown. And in fact, in the dormitory room of Hagan, he has one picture on the wall, and that's of Inessi. And he gives it a long look and many thoughts every day, he said. 2nd and 3. Flanagan met at the line of scrimmage. Volcar filling the hole. The Inessi family is here. His father on the left, his mother in the yellow in the middle, and that's Sal Inessi's sister. They live out in Oceanside, California, in the San Diego area.
Well, it was
Sal Inessi smile. His son, mother, of course, is Bill McCartney's daughter, Kristen. He said the young guy at 8 months has his dad's smile. Flanagan breaking a tackle and has a first down inside the Notre Dame 40-yard line. Pat Terrell, a senior, and many feel he'll be a top NFL prospect, made the tackle. Final seconds of the 3rd quarter. They stopped the clock on the first down, 19 seconds. And they may not get a playoff unless they hurry.
Well, they need this play. At the point of attack, they're all right. What was pointed out by O.J. earlier, the backside of the play, where the ball carrier would like to cut back, aren't there.
Hagan, how did he get through that mix? Cuts back inside. It's going to be a Colorado touchdown. Score that awakens Colorado's hopes on the final play of the third period. Darian Hagan extricating himself from a pile of Irish tacklers on the near sidelines. The point after hits the upright, no good. So Ken Culbertson, the senior from Boulder, has missed an easy field goal, and now he takes the fun out of Hagan's touchdown run by striking the upright, no good. It's 14-6. And the first extra point that he has missed at Colorado.
Well, there's the pressure of a game. Here we see the option down the line of scrimmage. An excellent block by Perrick, the tight end. Now that speed takes over. Downfield blocks are there. Now watch this great instinct of cutting back and utilizing the entire field. People have to turn and run and chase him across the field. They don't come close.
For the leg strength of Hagan, who is 5'10 and 185, not to be knocked out of bounds. And watch Culbertson, again, just as he missed the field goal, hitting it low and whacking it wide to the left and denied the point. Nevertheless, Darian Hagan has built some hopes for Colorado. After 3 periods, Notre Dame 14, Colorado 6, and we'll return to the Orange Bowl after these messages from your local station.
You're watching Channel 4, home of the Buffalo.
Part of the story for Colorado, a missed short field goal, a missed fake field goal, and now a missed extra point as Culbertson strikes it wide left and it hits the upright.
Well, he saw that push coming right upfield on him. It looks as though he took his eye off the normal mechanics of a kick, saw that thing coming, and just pulled it away like he almost tried to make the people miss by his kick. So the push up the middle had something to do with it.
Culbertson wide-eyed, as you can see. The helmet's up. That's one of the signals through the course of this year, acknowledging the fallen teammate, Sal and Essie. They kick it high toward the sidelines, and Ismail is right there at the 15-yard line. They didn't want it that deep. He's dangerous. And the hit by Doug Atkins, number 19. He was there first to stop Ismail at the 31-yard line.
Ismail went down this sideline. You can see how instinctive he is right along the sideline. And when Hagan gets past this one defender and then breaks across the field, it makes the difference. He was cut off otherwise. But that's just a great athletic counter.
So we open the fourth quarter, 14-6 Notre Dame. Hagan, the rushing star, 105 yards and a touchdown. Now his counterpart, Tony Rice, goes to work.
Each one of these drives are time-consuming, and Colorado can't afford that.
Outside, gets around the corner and cuts back. Here they had him for a loss. Instead, Ismail picks up 4 or 5 yards.
Notre Dame's had an almost flawless game as far as the turnover part of it and the penalty part of it, and that has been a difference. Colorado hasn't really gotten a break other than those 2 concurrent penalties they had, one after another, early on in the second half. But otherwise, Notre Dame's playing a disciplined, flawless game, utilizing all that experience they've gained with this team, and of course the history of the school and how people perform under pressure.
Rice from Woodruff, South Carolina, checks the defense, 2nd and 5. And they drag him down. A solid play by Gary Howe, who was a freshman at Drake, and when they gave up football at the Division I level, this young man from Spencer, Iowa, transferred to Colorado, and he's had a fine game in this Orange Bowl.
Well, that was an excellent play by Howe straight up the field, but Rice uses very good judgment in not pitching that ball. He was really tempted. You see an excellent play here. He's tempted to pitch it, but he doesn't. Right now with this 8-point lead, they just can't afford to make any mistakes. That shows that maturity that Rice has and that leadership quality.
A loss of 4, 3rd and 9. Both Eilers and Ismail are to the right. Race with plenty of time, and he goes to the left side to Derek Brown and can't make connections with the tight end. He was in the open. He'd gotten behind David Gibbs, the little cornerback. So Notre Dame unable to move, and with 13-18 left in this fourth quarter, they'll have to punt to Colorado, and the fans from Boulder raise some ruckus across the way.
Well, for every minute that we see pass from that clock, Colorado has more pressure to execute. And they've come back to those things they do best, and have used the ability of Hagan to run with the ball. Got their touchdown. They're going to have to do the same thing again.
10 men on the line of scrimmage. Enberg's kick to Campbell at the 22. Gets a block. 30. 35 out of bounds at the Irish bench around the 37-yard line. So more than 13 minutes to go. Colorado has scored on its last possession, and here comes Hagan looking for more.
The 1990 Federal Express Orange Bowl is brought to you by Federal Express, the best way to ship it over there. By Coors Light, pure brewed in the Rockies. The silver bullet won't slow you down. It's the right beer now. By Delta Airlines, we love to fly, and it shows. And by Plymouth and your local Plymouth dealers, who invite you to test drive a Plymouth today.
Well, Colorado in a Cinderella season, 14-6, trying to pull out a Cinderella win. You're really vibrating. It reminds you of the days back at San Jose State, or you're coaching at Stanford.
Dick, the energy that comes out of this stadium from the students and from the fans, and certainly from the players and the benches, it's shocking, the energy that comes out of there, and it's affected me. I can't use any judgment. I keep nudging which team should go.
Well, it was nice. You started off your first commentary, a little profanity, and I knew you were up for the game.
I haven't used that word since I coached football.
All right, Colorado has the ball, down 14-6 with 13 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. The Orange Bowl packed, and it's been much more exciting than the score might indicate. Scoreless at halftime. Notre Dame scoring 2 touchdowns on its first 2 possessions of the second half. Greg Bieniemy is in a tailback, and he takes it 4 yards to his own 40. Chris Zorich, the hard-nosed young man from Vocational High School in Chicago, the same high school that produced Dick Butkus. He was his early hero, but of recent years, Mike Singletary is the man he likes to emulate. He said, I've read his book about 9 times.
He said, I not only like the way he plays, but the way he carries himself, the class that Mike Singletary has, he would just prefer to emulate that the rest of his life.
Hagan rolling behind the enemy. And throwing complete. It's to Pritchard, the wingback, who slipped out into the flat. A first down at the Notre Dame 44. 16 yards for Hagan. And now you understand the talent of this sophomore. The first man in Big 8 history to rush and pass for 1,000 yards in a season. Same season.
Well, some momentum coming back. He wanted to throw downfield. It was taken away, and he used very good judgment, drilling that ball down along the sideline to Pritchard.
He sends Campbell out to the near side as the only split receiver. Pritchard in motion. Hagan trapped in the backfield and ripped down by Volcar.
Well, there's talk that Volcar doesn't have the speed to play professional football. That time he used an excellent angle, just breaking right down the line of scrimmage, then penetrating. Nowhere to go.
Grew up as a big Steelers fan, and I imagine he was excited about that upset by Pittsburgh and Houston yesterday.
You'll see him here coming right down the line of scrimmage to make a play. And again, he uses good judgment, but there's the drilling that he's had all through college as to what angle to take to scrape into the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 13. Hagan ad-libbing his way in traffic inside the 45 to the 44, and Volcar traps him again. It'll be 3rd and 10 for Colorado.
Well, Colorado was warned, the coaches warned in their scouting report that the Irish play beautifully with their hands standing up. They wanted to cut people down. They didn't get anyone cut down that time. Everybody's standing up, and the Notre Dame players just playing fundamentally sound football. Hagan had nowhere to go.
Culbertson isn't the only one missing extra points. University of Miami has missed 2 extra points tonight. You saw the score, 26-17 in the Sugar Bowl. A win by Notre Dame and a win by Miami, and the Hurricane fans feel they'll be #1. Hagan throws. Incomplete. Trying to get to his tight end, Perrick. Pass was a little low, and Francisco with good coverage.
Well, the long halftime really benefits the coaches in this kind of situation because it can the players can not only refresh themselves, but they can listen to some real methodical reflections on what happened in the first half. Notre Dame have done a great job of counteracting what they saw with that so-called solo formation. That time they've tried the same play pass they'd done earlier, and it was easily covered.
That's Eilers back to return for Notre Dame, replacing the injured Ricky Waters. Ruin. Short kick and overhand fair catch Eilers, and he has it at the 17-yard line. So 10:27 left in the final period, and Notre Dame with an 8-point advantage. Colorado is battling more than Notre Dame's great tradition. Look at that recent history under Lou Holtz. They don't cough up a chance to win. If they're leading in the fourth, they've not been headed. 32-0 under the 53-year-old headmaster at Notre Dame.
Colorado's offense lacks that dimension in the forward pass, and it could very well haunt them the rest of the night. They can complete a pass or two, but consistently completing the pass with time a factor is not likely.
Johnson and Ismail behind Rice. Changing the play.
They've shifted into that stack defense.
And it's Ismail. Breaking tackles. Boy, strong-legged. Flags are down. And finally, Alfred Williams wrestles Ismail to the ground at the 42-yard line. Flag drop back at the 23.
Could be fate is in the hands of Colorado. If this is against Notre Dame, what a break. Because that last run, if Notre Dame had been stopped, Colorado would have had terrible field position. So now they still have a chance.
But you watch Ismail run, and at 175 pounds with that kind of electric speed, and yet the leg power, so many men his size with that kind of speed, an arm tackle, he's down. It takes 2 or 3 solid hits to get him to the turf.
I have a hold on the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
And with Tony Rice graduating, Lou Holtz not happy with that flag, as any coach ever. Says he's going to go back to a totally different offense next year, featuring Rick Meyer, the sensational freshman out of Goshen, Indiana. It'll be more of a passing game, and one suspects we're going to see Ismail as his tailback.
Very well could. That's the factor that Lou Holtz has had. He's been able to adapt to different situations. Both coaches have. And Lou plans to go right back to the passing game. He knows it well. And it should be an excellent team with a forward passer.
Ismail again, and Alfred Williams, 235-pound linebacker, hit him, and he didn't drive him back. Ismail able to fall forward for a yard or two out to the 20, where it'll be second down and 8.
Every one of these plays now, all of that work that both teams have put in, but just thinking of Colorado and their movement and effort toward a national championship all the way back to spring practice, the Nessie incident and situation, and now they're right down to less than 10 minutes to play, and they're going to have to come back to win.
Ismail has 83 of those Notre Dame yards. This time it's Anthony Johnson, and he's got a first down at the 29-yard line. Michael Jones made the tackle, but that gives the Irish another 4 downs, and the clock continues to run. 9:13 currently, and as soon as they move the yardsticks, they'll wind it up.
Well, look for right or the strong side guard, most likely Grunard, 75, Dean Brown, 71, running right behind them with Johnson. It's going to be tough because people begin to fatigue. And those 2 massive men with all that power, with Johnson's power right behind them, most likely can control this ball.
Tony Smith is way out to the left with Eilers in the slot. And it's Ismail. He's amazingly strong. Down to the 39-yard line and close to another first down before Michael Jones can make the tackle.
Well, in this situation, it appeared to me that Colorado's going to have to do some gambling and blitzing to be able to stop some of these things because they're being turned sideways, knocked sideways by the offensive line. They're big holes for these quick backs. The power of Johnson and the quickness of Ismail really gives him balance.
Ismail, the Rocket. Mother now has taken on the nickname Launching Pad. She seems to like it. He's kind of embellishes for me. 2nd and 1, Johnson, and he plows forward for maybe the yard necessary for a first down.
Well, you can look for the experience of Lou Holtz and his staff in just controlling this ball and trying to minimize any mistakes or breaks that could occur against them.
Story of the game was one of the zeros for Colorado. Actually, 2 of them in the first half. They had 3 opportunities to score. Missed on a very short field goal. They tried a fake field goal and were stopped at the 1-yard line, and they fumbled inside the 20. And more importantly, on 1st and goal at the 1, it appeared from our angle that Eric Bieniemy had dived across the goal line for a touchdown. It was not so ruled, and then Notre Dame with a tremendous goal line stand denying Colorado any points.
That's come back to haunt them, each one of those situations. A year from now, the Colorado staff and team will handle these situations better. But right now, they're in for the World's Championship or the National Championship. And with that in mind, they may not get back to this situation.
First down, and it's 7:47 and the clock running against Colorado and with Notre Dame, leading 14-6. 2 tight ends, West and Brown, bookend the line now. And it's Ismail. Whipping outside, and this time not able to turn the corner as Gary Howe again makes the tackle, and a flag goes down. They might have gotten a piece of the face mask. Yep.
Does that hurt?
Lou Holtz right there on those sidelines, been campaigning. He feels there's been some holding going on, and
Well, face mask, 5-yard penalty against the defense.
Well, Colorado has been a heavily penalized team all year. 78 different penalties have been called in 11 games. Well, that was just a scrape across the helmet. That's all we saw. No grasp, nothing. An official from a distance called it. These are the kind of calls that can just haunt a coach and his team throughout the offseason until the next spring practice starts.
First down and 7. Ismail is out. Culver in at tailback. It's Johnson, the fullback. He's across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Alfred Williams. You know, you talk about Johnson. He doesn't get all the notoriety that the Ismails and Rice do in offense and the skill positions. But Johnson, when you talk to football people around the nation, they say, if you were still looking at fullbacks the way we did the last 40, 50 years, this man would be an All-America.
Well, he's close to Williams of Seattle. That kind of a fullback. He's 220 pounds. I think he'd be an excellent blocker in the NFL, but he's a fine inside runner, very stable, and he has speed.
Can catch the ball, and he certainly can block. 2nd down and 4. Now the down box says 2nd down, not 3rd down. And here's Culver to the 50, and that would be good enough for a first down. Michael Jones made the tackle.
What they need now, Colorado needs, are their defensive backs, Young and James, the safeties, to get into that line of scrimmage and stop those things up so the ball carrier can't fall forward. Right now, they're not getting there at all, and the ball carriers are getting to extra 2 and 3 yards, and they're just using the clock up. They're going to have to take some chances. They're going to have to go after it. If they get hit deep, it's just so be it. Because right now, unless they stop Notre Dame and get this clock to slow down on them a little bit, they don't have a chance.
Johnson again gets the call, and they're going to the workhorse Anthony Johnson. They're inside a running game. Johnson, whose idol was Walter Payton, and who says his ambition someday is to own 3 Clydesdale horses. That'll make some sponsors happy.
They have a lot of room for those horses. A lot of shoveling.
His dad was an usher at Notre Dame Stadium.
Well, Notre Dame's done this before, Dick, so many times. Each game throughout the year, other than Miami, they've done exactly this to win a football game.
Rice using Johnson as a ploy, faking to him, taking it himself inside the 40, and it appears that's going to be another first down. 8 more yards for Tony Rice, who was...
Dick, looking at the other side, Colorado has yet to have had this happen. They don't have a mechanism to stop things like this.
8 yards on the run by Tony Rice. First down at the 49-yard line.
Ricky Waters on the sideline trying to help as a cheerleader. His night was over early, an injured knee in the first quarter. Lou Holtz calls this smash face football. Just take it right at him. Helmet on helmet. Run. And Ismail, a little deception going the other way, and is across the 35 for a gain of 5 or 6.
Ismail has that great speed. He starts inside, then bends outside, and if the defense isn't really alert to it and doesn't hold their position, he'll just basically outrun people and get yardage. Again, he's supposed to be inside. You see a trapping guard and a tackle, but he turns and bursts outside, and with that speed, he just outruns everybody.
Bo Schembechler, after what he did to the Wolverines in the opener with 2 kickoff return touchdowns, said, this guy's faster than the speed of sound. 2nd and 5. 107 yards now for Ismail.
Bruce Young's up inside now, so we're trying to stack up in there and make things happen.
Johnson gets the call, and there's 1 tackle from a touchdown before David Gibbs can get him down at the 23-yard line. A very impressive drive by Notre Dame, chewing up most of the time in this 4th quarter.
Johnson comes all the way back across the grain and almost makes it happen. At this point, Colorado is naturally going to be desperate. So everybody's going to be going toward the ball, and the cutback play or the bounce play can make a big difference.
14-6, Notre Dame leads, trying to hand Colorado its first defeat of the season in this Orange Bowl with the national title at stake. Johnson again. And he gets to the 20 to 19-yard line. And basically, there's not much deception here, except what Bryce provides. And he carried out his fake and took 2 tacklers with him. It's give it to Anthony Johnson and then mixed in an occasional keeper by Rice or a toss to Ismail.
Well, right now, Tim Grunhard is playing an absolutely great football game at guard, and Dean Brown right next to him, number 71, have dominated. That time, Grunhard knocked his man off the ball 5 yards. So that great power, they'll run right there behind those 2 every time now.
Going to take almost a turnover now for Colorado to get any hope at all. Rice, stop. Look at him withstand the punishment and still on his feet, and the whistle finally sounds. And he really still was moving forward then. Tony Rice driving to the 16-yard line as the clock now at 2:49 and running.
What a character test for Colorado. They're most likely going to lose this game, and to keep your composure and play with the intensity that you've stored up in you for a game like this.
Eating up
really
more.
A test.
7:40 and now close to 8 minutes have been consumed on this drive alone. Bill McCartney looks at 3rd down and a long 3. They need the big defensive play, Colorado. Culver, big hole. Rodney Culver, first down inside the 10. Bruce Young finally got him down.
You have to give a lot of credit to this offensive line of Notre Dame, because right now they're cleanly blocking everyone. So there's all kind of room to run. You take a look at people cutting people down on the backside and knocking people around, and then the strength of the ball carrier to finally fall forward after he's hit.
Well, the Irish fans and the teammates on the sideline celebrating what is a impressive drive by the Irish, whose only defeat came here at Miami against the Hurricanes. Inside to Johnson. He gets to the 6-yard line, and Colorado's going to have to start thinking about spending some timeouts. They do. There's the first. And what a year for this man, Bill McCartney. The tests of the man, and we'll chronicle those once again. And it seemed destined to be. It's Alan Essie. That story would continue to a national championship, but the Irish say no. High above Miami, a city rooting for Notre Dame and its own Hurricanes for a national title. Goodyear Blimp Enterprise in its 25th year. The Goodyear Blimp has covered the Orange Bowl for NBC. And pleasure to have those great shots. Get the feeling of this city. It's been a terrific week for those who have visited from Colorado and Notre Dame. And now it's the Irish. 2nd and goal from the Colorado 7-yard line, trying to wrap up a win that they were a 2-point favorite coming in. Johnson, he has a touchdown. A drive entirely on the ground, basically from tackle to tackle, as the offensive line of the Irish held at center. Ryan and Grunhard, the guards. Brennan and Brown, the tackles, and the tight end, Derek Brown, just outmoved the Colorado defense, pushed them down the field to score impressively a touchdown that apparently has won this 1990 Orange Bowl for Notre Dame.
Colorado is really not in a defensive alignment that's going to get very much done. They're backed up to their own goal line, and they're playing basically a middle of the field defense. Consequently, Notre Dame, with all that shocking power up front, just split people and broke straight between them. So again, it's a matter of being prepared for these kinds of situations, and Colorado defensively wasn't ready for that one.
Lou Holtz out on the field. The injured Irish player Mike Helt, the center, and he comes off under his own power, but holding that wrist. Holtz watching Anthony Johnson score his 34th career touchdown, and Lou, just like sinking a putt, says, hey, reach into your wallet. This one is mine.
Well, Mike Hill, coming out of the game, did an excellent job on Joel Steed, a fine nose tackle from Colorado all day, because Steed, really, we haven't seen his number come up on these tackles. So you'd have to give Hill, who was slightly injured in practice just 2 days ago, come back and play a beautiful game.
Hentrick to try the extra point. Somewhat adventurous moment in college football tonight here and in New Orleans, but Hentrick hits it through, and the Irish now lead 21-6. After today, apparently, there will be on January 2nd 4 teams with 1 loss. Colorado losing to Notre Dame, Notre Dame losing to Miami, Miami losing to Florida State. Boy, were the Seminoles tough. May have been the best team of all at the end of the season, and Tennessee finishes with only 1 defeat, and the debate will rage on as to number 1, and of course that'll stir up talks of a postseason playoff as Hentrick drives it down the line. Picked up by Pritchard. And Mike Pritchard of Colorado crosses the 40-yard line before Eric Simeon can make the tackle. While we were away, Darian Hagan, how frustrating that must have been for the Colorado offense. McCartney and Hagan on the sidelines watching the defense, unable to stop Notre Dame. It took the Irish 9 minutes, 8:55 to be exact, to go the 82 yards to the touchdown by Johnson that has sealed apparently this win. And meanwhile, the Miami Hurricanes have a 33-17 lead against the Crimson Tide in the 4th. And who will be number 1?
Well, most likely Miami. After all, they beat Notre Dame soundly. But Notre Dame, again, has broken this chain of losing 5 straight at the Orange Bowl. They've done a beautiful job of it tonight. And certainly Colorado can take some pride. 11-0 in the regular season.
Hagan getting away from the rush by McDonald and then throwing downfield, incomplete. Broken up nicely by the Irish downfield.
Well, the tension is off. Both teams will, at the end of the game, I'm sure, share their experiences of the game and respect for each other. But again, Colorado 11-0 to make the big move beyond Oklahoma, beyond Nebraska, to get where they are. They're going to have a tough few weeks, but at some point they'll again take great pride in what they've accomplished.
Well, it's a young team too, Bill Walsh. They're going to return many starters, and the program has been built by McCartney and undoubtedly will enjoy continued.
This is the phase of the game I think the colleges often can spend more time with in their early fall or spring practices when they are behind, and when it's even likely they'll lose, to have a style of football they can use or a system that can give them a chance to do something down the field.
About a waste of time. They tried to go with the no huddle, but unsuccessfully, and now the clock down to 45 seconds. 3rd down and 5. A reverse to Campbell, and look who's waiting, Jeff Alm. Campbell tackled in the backfield by Demetrius DuBose, a freshman. And now 4th and about 12.
Well, they may not get a ball off. We're down under 25 seconds, so that may be it.
I want to thank Jim Daves from Notre Dame and Becky Young from Colorado for their support, both of the sports information services and helping us upstairs tonight, along with statistician Joe Costanza, Steve Bazika, Rick Buckner, Elliot Cow, Bob Harris, Lee Dixon. Final play, perhaps, of this Orange Bowl game, and Hagan wings it downfield where there are only Irish players, and Pat Terrell with the interception, and the Irish have won 21-6.
Well, he brought his team back, no question about it. Lou Holtz brought his team back under a lot of adversity, a lot of questions.
Establishing himself last year with the greats of Notre Dame coaching history, Rockne and Leahy, Parsegian and Devine, who had all won national titles, and then Holtz puts together a 23-game winning streak, a Notre Dame record, broken by Miami in the final game of the regular season, and then comes back when many felt the team would have trouble getting emoted for this game, and they win impressively 21-6. Bill McCartney and Lou Holtz meet at midfield. But in many ways, it's been a year of high victory, a season of high victory as well for the University of Colorado. Disappointment now, but they gave their fans perhaps the greatest season in their 100 years. Lou Holtz gets the traditional now, I guess, bath. He says, I'm not big enough, I only weigh 150. Hey, he could be the leprechaun. He could serve as the mascot for the Irish. And we will return to Miami in just a moment.
In the victorious Notre Dame locker room with a still dripping wet Coach Lou Holtz. And, Coach, we've got to get out of here quickly because in a few minutes Johnny Carson comes on, though I'm guessing in a few days you'll probably be a guest on the show yourself, and then you can elaborate. But you were saying that your peripheral vision leaves something to be desired because they snuck up on you with the Gatorade bucket.
I can't believe they did that to me. My only regret is that I don't have one more practice with this football squad this year. I want to tell you, that sucker's cold, too. That's why I'm jumping. I can't stand to be cold, but we'll get even with them. But I'm happy for our football team. We beat an awful good football team. We overcame all kind of adversity this year, and I'm very proud of Notre Dame and of our players.
Colorado did control the first half. Is that fair to say?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about it. We knew that they were a good football team. We never had real good field position, or we made a mental error on first down the center, and we couldn't really get into a rhythm. But we knew it would be this type of football game, but we did what we had to do when we had to do it. And, you know, to beat the #1 team in the country, I mean, we played 9 bowl teams, 9 bowl teams, I guess, this year, 8 in the top 20. So I'm very proud of them. It was a hard-fought win. I give Colorado credit. They're a fine football team.
Miami, at last check, leading Alabama. The Crimson Tide had hung tough, but now it's 33-17, assuming the Hurricanes win. Who's the national champ?
Well, I've got to vote for us. We're #1 all year long, played with pressure, played 9 bowl teams. And if you're going to look at it over the whole period of time, and I think we deserve to be #1. I don't know what more you can do than beat the #1 team by 15 points.
The final say will belong to the pollsters, but for now, a big smile and a well-deserved one for Lou Holtz and his Fighting Irish team. They win over Colorado 21-6 in the Orange Bowl. Back to Dick and Bill.
It certainly will be an interesting vote, won't it? And we'll have to wait till a day or two to find out what the sports writers, sportscasters in one poll and the coaches vote. And we might indeed even get a split vote there. If you had a ballot, Bill Walsh, to whom would you give the national title?
Well, as much as I respect Notre Dame, the job they've done, Miami beat Notre Dame soundly, and you'd have to give them, on a head-to-head deal, the championship.
Well, the Irish deserve to celebrate. They were very impressive, and when they had to control the ball at the end of the game, they kept it for 9 minutes away from the Colorado offense, just when Darian Hagan seemed to be getting in stride. He made that spectacular 39-yard run. The kicking game was part of the spoiling. The Buffaloes could not take a full opportunity of many first-half opportunities. The final again, 21-6 for Bill Walsh and Dick Enberg. For all of us at NBC Sports, have a great new year. For an NBC News special report, Gorbachev and Bush, New Year's greetings. Stay tuned now for your late local news.
The preceding has been a presentation of NBC Sports.
From Channel 4, the home of the Buffaloes, this is the CU Orange Bowl post-game report. Brought to you by Taco Bell. a proud supporter of the Colorado Buffaloes. Congratulations on a great season.
Good evening from Miami. I'm Steve Daniels along with Ed Green outside the Orange Bowl Stadium where CU has just suffered a loss to Notre Dame. We are here with CU fans who are just leaving the stadium.
Certainly the sports guys will take care of all the analysis, Steve, but the 1-foot line when they were stopped there, it really turned the game, and of course Notre Dame went on to win. But the fans are here, they're proud of CU being in the bowl, and they're here to tell us that.
Exactly. This is a big season, a Cinderella season for CU. I think the fans are feeling good about that. It was a good trip to Miami. Felt very strongly about that after a fantastic season. We were hoping this team would do a little better this evening, but the CU fans still supporting their Buffs.
Yeah, it's certainly not the case, and I think being inside on the field, you could hear that the stands were, I think, heavily flavored for the CU fans. I think there were more of them there than the Notre Dame fans. Couldn't pull it together quite enough to get that team going, but a good showing nonetheless, and the CU fans seemed to come out a little bit happier about the fact that they were at least here.
Exactly. An awful lot of electricity. If you could, wish you could have been inside to feel the electricity among the CU fans. Really, I felt outnumbered the Notre Dame fans. An amazing amount of enthusiasm when the CU cheering section. They all had their banners and signs and cheers and chants down pat. Just didn't quite pull the bus through tonight.
Yeah, we have a couple of fans here. Why don't we bring somebody in? Come on in and tell us. You just saw what happened to CU. What's your feeling right now?
We love our Buffs. They're #1 in our minds and in our hearts. We'll be here next year.
All right.
Next year will be better. We're coming on. What do you think this says about the future seasons for CU? We'll be back again?
The best is yet to come.
This is just the beginning.
See us next year.
Definitely the beginning.
Characterize the mood for us in the CU cheering section towards the end of the game.
Electricity through the whole game. We were proud of our fans as much as our team.
Really were.
We love you.
All right. We'll be back with more CU here from Miami in just a minute after this break. Stay with us. Ron Zapolo live in the CU locker room after the Orange Bowl. I am here with J.J. Flanagan. The script should not have ended this way.
Oh, no, we worked hard and we played hard out there. And that's one thing we have to be proud of. And it's just important that, we get across to each other on the team that we didn't let anybody down. We didn't let Sal down. We fought our hearts out. And just to make it here, and had an opportunity, next year they got to come back and they got to do it again.
One thing I noticed when you came off the field, almost every player was up coming into the locker room.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I try to keep everybody up on the sidelines. That, because first thing everybody will say is that, do you feel that you left, do you feel that you let Sal Nessie down? And that's something that we can't get caught up in. We know we had an excellent team this year. This is still the Colorado Buffaloes' dream season, and it's something I'm going to remember forever.
First time this year, J.J., offensively, I thought you beat yourself in the first half. Did you feel you were dominating the game offensively up front, line of scrimmage?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's, like you said, we didn't capitalize on some plays and times that we should have scored coming in the first half, but it's something that we couldn't look back on, and we had to come out second half and try to get the same thing going. Things didn't work out our way, but we still have to be patient. They have to come back next year, and they got to be just as motivated as ever.
They came out in the second half. They got the scores. When you were in here in halftime, were you frustrated collectively over the chance that you'd moved it up and down the field, and you come in here, you got nothing to show for it?
No, we weren't frustrated. We knew that if we can do it then, we can come back and do it again. And we came out second half, and we drove the ball again a couple times. But it's just that when we got down within 25-yard line, we knew we had to capitalize. And, Hagan made an excellent run to get us in the end zone, and we thought the momentum was going back our way.
Did you feel then that you were in the game, had a chance to win the game?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We never thought we'd be out of the game. We just kept pushing the defense just to get us the ball back. If we can get the ball back and get the ball back in Hagan's hand, we know he can make something happen.
What happened before the game at the coin toss? We were up watching it upstairs. Can you tell us from the players' perspective what happened?
When I came out, first thing I saw was they was all up on the hash, and I guess it was like another Illinois thing, so I guess they wanted to get things started, so we got out there just to show them that, hey, we're not going to back down to them. It's going to be one of them games that they're going to know that they've been in. It's not going to be a game that we're going to lay down and die, and so that was just one thing just to get started on them.
We're live back home. Anything you want to say to the people now that are watching? All of Denver's watching right now.
I just thank everybody for their support throughout the whole year, and it's been great playing here this last year, and don't worry, they're going to be back next year.
JJ, congratulations. Thanks very much. JJ Flanagan. Darian Hagan is next to him. If I can grab Darian for a minute. Darian, we're live on Channel 4 back home. Congratulations on a terrific season.
Thanks a lot, Ron. We had it, but we didn't come through with it.
You did have it. The first half, did you feel collectively in the huddle that you could do what you wanted? Because you were driving up and down the field.
Yeah, we felt very confident in our ability up the middle because with Zay Lundberg, Garden, and Muhlenberg in the middle, that's three big guys in there. You just wearing them out. But unfortunately, we got down close and we couldn't punch it in.
How frustrating was it to be moving the ball like that, and you come in here at the half and you got nothing to show for it?
Yeah, it wasn't frustrating at first because we felt that we could still go down and score. And in the second half, we didn't, play as much intensity, and I think that's what the deciding factor.
Well, you got down 14-zip, but you came back, 35-yard touchdown run. Tell me about it.
They went up 14-0, and a lot of guys still were up for it, and including myself. We didn't want to show a letdown, so Coach called a play that worked for us all year, our most productive play, and it worked well again. But we didn't come up with enough points.
Had to be tough in the fourth quarter too, because you get the touchdown, you're back in the ball game, and then they just smashed it down in the fourth quarter. You couldn't get back on the field.
Yeah, we got the ball one time in the fourth quarter. Notre Dame played excellent ball control, and got the victory.
You told me this week over at the hotel, you said this will be the most physically punishing game we've ever been in. Was it that way?
No. I thought it would be because of the type of athletes they have. Sure. But they were over-aggressive and missing a lot of tackles, and we beat them up. We beat them up.
You really feel that way?
Yeah, we beat them up inside and out, but they came away with the victory.
Was there a lot of talking during the game?
Only one guy, Kolakowski. He was the only one talking. The rest of the guys were class athletes.
How do you look back now on this season? Such a magical storybook type year.
Well, it's a season full of accomplishments and goals that we accomplished, but one goal and one commitment we didn't come through with, and that was bring home the one goal for Sal. And it's going to hit later on tonight, and we're going to feel very bad. But right now we're real low key about it, because it really hasn't settled in because of the fine season we've had.
Are you going to feel good later though when you think about the fine season you've had?
Yeah, we'll feel real good because we got him one ring. We didn't come away with 2 rings, so he'll be happy with a big A ring.
Final thing, we're live now to all of Colorado. Everybody's watching. Anything you want to say to the people back home?
We had a great season, and we're sorry we let you guys down, but we'll be back here next year, and we'll get this victory.
Well said. Congratulations, Darian.
All right, thanks a lot.
Darian Hagan. We'll come back to the CU locker room in just a minute. Don't go away.
You're watching Channel 4, proud home of the CU Buffaloes.
Back in the CU locker room, I'm with tackle Mark Vanderpool. Just talked to Darian Hagan and Flanagan. Both told me that their offensive line just totally dominated. They felt that game in the first half. It looked upstairs like you had all types of confidence in the first half that you could win in the trenches.
Yeah, we really thought that we'd be able to move it anytime, anywhere. When we got in the trenches, we sputtered. And, I mean, to play the team of this caliber, you have to play a flawless game. We turned over the ball twice, and, we couldn't punch it in when we had to, and that cost us.
You made a good point. None of the other kids said it, but can you feel like it's slipping away even early in the first half when you're playing a good caliber team and you're not capitalizing when you're down?
Well, that was, I really knew that we would be in hot water if we didn't turn it around the second half. The first half, we gave up 21 points, and those are hard points to come by, especially playing a team of this caliber. Sure. And then to let them go like that, in the first half, if we came out and played like we did in the first half, then I knew that it'd be a really close game.
Did you think part of the problem might have been sitting in here at halftime, thinking about what you just said, that you would move the ball quite well, but yet didn't have any points? It might have been a carryover to the second half.
Well, we did some change-ups, and we really worked on it on the boards, and we said, okay, when we get into these situations again, we drew up certain plays, and I know we could punch it in if we got in that situation again, and unfortunately we didn't make it.
How are you going to look back on this season after the pain of this wear
wears off in a few days?
Well, you know, I don't think it's ever going to wear off. I mean, just like last year with the Freedom Bowl, I mean, you got the whole year to live down that one last loss. You know, you're as good as your last performance. You know, I'm really going to have a problem with handling this loss, you know, because we wanted this one for Sal and the whole bit, and, you know, it's just going to be a long time before season starts up again.
Congratulations on a great season. I appreciate you coming over.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Mark Vanderpool. Let's go over to the Notre Dame interview room where Lou Holtz, the winning coach, is conducting a news conference.
The best record, and we're #1 for 11 weeks. The 1 week we were out of #1, we came back and beat #1 by 15 points. Now, I know people are going to say, well, head-to-head on that particular day, and we did not play well. You did not see the typical Notre Dame team, but when you play 9 bowl teams, those things are going to happen. If you want to decide who was the best football team on October 25th, you may make Florida State. But if you're going to go look at it over the whole course of the year, and at the end of the year, we were #1 with the toughest schedule. And golly, Ned's last time we were down at the Orange Bowl, we beat a team, and I stood up here and said I felt we deserved to be #1. I'm not going to campaign or anything. I just believe in my heart if you have the best record against the toughest schedule, case rest. But in any event, we're glad to win. We beat a class outfit. Coach McCartney and his staff are certain to be congratulated. They're an excellent team. Questions?
Players at halftime.
One comment I will make. 8 o'clock press conference. Is that at the Omni? Huh? It's at 10? I got news for you. I got a couple important people like Ray Floyd, Jack Stevens, getting ready to play golf with me at 9:30. And I told them it'd be all right. But in any event, what I tell them at halftime, just went over the first.
Ron Zappolo back in the CU locker room. I'm with one of the truly great players here in this great season, Jeff Campbell. I don't know where to start except to say it was not supposed to end like this.
Yeah, he always wishes a senior it could end with a win, but in a national title, we'll never get this shot again, so it's a little bit heartbreaking right now, but we'll get back on our feet. We faced some adversity this year. That probably makes it even harder, so go back to Boulder and keep on going.
I know in the first half, we just talked about it a minute ago, it looked like Colorado was clearly the dominant team on the football field. Did you feel that way in this locker room at the half?
Yeah, we felt we could do anything we wanted against them. We did that all the first half. We just got down inside a couple of times. We tried that fake field goal and didn't get it in, and that ended up being the telltale story. You know, they beat us by 3 touchdowns, and we should have had 17 points coming in at the half. So that's it.
How frustrating was it? And how tough was it, Jeff, to handle the fact that you never had this all year where you literally shot yourself in the foot tonight?
Yeah, it's real hard to handle. When you get inside the 5-yard line, you got to score in a national championship game. We just didn't punch it in there, and it's probably something that you think about for the rest of your life. But like I said before, it's time to keep on moving and keep your head up because we had a good season.
Second half, a lot of us upstairs were hoping that you could break one and maybe turn the game around.
Yeah, we were hoping we could break one big, too. We thought we could get one on their right-hand side, and he shanked 2 that could have been possible touchdowns for us. So I don't know if he was kicking away or he was trying to get him out of bounds.
Appreciate you coming over, and we'll see you in the pros next year.
Thank you. I hope I'm in Denver.
All right, Jeff Campbell, thanks very much. And we also have Michael Jones here, and we congratulate you first, Mike, on a truly terrific season for CU.
Thanks a lot. I know it's hard to feel. Yeah, we made a lot of accomplishments this year, but to come up 1 game short, you know. Yeah, they'll be back next year, though.
You know, I know it was JJ that said that when I first came in here, hey, we came off up. We felt good. Do you feel that way right now?
Yeah, you know, I have no regrets. That's one thing I wanted to have coming out of the game, win, lose, or draw. And, you know, I could walk away from the game now, put my helmet up, and get a job and do something.
Mike, they could not run the ball at all. They tried to smash it down your throat in the first half and couldn't run it. And the only way they could beat you was to put it in the air, which they did in the second half.
Well, I knew coming into the game they would have to put the ball in the air, just like Nebraska did to win the game. And they did successfully, and they won the game.
They won the game. I appreciate you coming by. Congratulations on a great year.
Hey, no problem, man.
Okay,
Thanks a lot.
Mike Jones. Let's now go back to the Notre Dame locker room and Peter Raghib. Peter?
Ron, thanks very much. I'm with 2 of the defensive stalwarts for Notre Dame, linebacker Ned Bolkar and defensive end Scott Kolakowski, who moments ago hugged each other and said, we did it when we had to, and I suppose that about sums it up, Ned.
Yeah, it came crunch time down the goal line first half, and I think we sucked up and dug a little bit deeper inside ourselves like we did all season long, and we shut them down. And that was a big motivational tool for us going into the second half, knowing that they couldn't put the ball in the end zone against us.
What did you do adjustment-wise They were ripping off big yardage in the first half with their one-back scheme. What were you doing?
They were breaking the ball back, running to the right of their offense almost primarily, and breaking it back to our right side. We adjusted. We brought the backside linebacker a little bit slower, tried to fill the void backside, and that helped shut them down a little bit in the second half.
Your last game for Notre Dame, you were a captain for 2 years. Your thoughts?
It's the best feeling of my life right now. I couldn't ask for any more out of a college career than to be captain of Notre Dame for 2 years in a row, and yet to finish up 25-1 the last. Is it 25-1? 24-1. Thank you. The last 2 years.
But who's counting?
Who's counting? As long as we win the last one.
All right, Scott Kolakowski, tell us about the goal line stand that you were an integral part of.
Well, they had been running option, and they got down on our goal line, and what happened is, they came and ran the option to our side, and we just pretty much shut them down, neutralized their running game, and played cat and mouse with the quarterback Darian Hagan, and our corners came up real well. Stanley Smagala and Troy Ridgely made one great play down there to stop the enemy from getting in the end zone, and we tightened up down there, and we said, hey, it's time to do it, as we said before. It's time to tighten up, and let's get it done right now, and that's what we did.
Did you also gain strength from stopping them 3 times in the first half through the turnover by the enemy, and then stopping them 2 other times, one the missed kick by Culbertson and one the goal line stand? They come away with no points.
Definitely. That's a big momentum swing for us, They got down on the goal line, people are kind of down a little bit, and then we stop and they come away with no points. It's a definite momentum swing and a boost for our defense. And when we come up the field, we were sky high, and our coaches were just, egging us on and said, hey, let's keep it going, keep the pressure. When we get them down, we want to keep them down.
Final quick question. Should you guys be number 1?
I think so.
All right, Scott, thanks very much. Scott Kolakowski, Notre Dame defensive end. We're going to go now to the CU locker room for Ron Zappolo and Coach McCartney. Ron?
Peter, thanks very much. I'm with Bill McCartney, and it's hard to come up with some questions at this point. All I can tell you, first off, is congratulations on a magical, storybook, terrific year.
Well, thanks, Ron. I really feel bad for all the people back there.
You don't have to, though. You gave it a great effort.
We had opportunities there, and we just didn't capitalize. And could have maybe went off at halftime up a couple scores, and as a result, we sure needed those.
Sure. It looked like on Eric's, he was just moving the ball from his right hand to his left hand. Is that how you saw it?
I couldn't see it very good. I was really blinded at the time the ball came out there. I didn't know what happened, and somebody told me, so I'll have to see the film. And we were down in there real close, and we didn't get it in. And good football teams capitalize when they get down there. They don't let you come away with nothing. Then we missed a chip shot. And the other thing we did was we tried a fake field goal down there, but our left end, Chad Brown, didn't get off the line of scrimmage.
You must have had, though, collectively as a team, Bill, great confidence, because somewhere in the second quarter you had to say to yourself, we can move the ball on this team when we want to.
Well, we were moving it on them each time that we got it, and we needed to capitalize on our efforts and didn't do it. And you hope at halftime that you could continue to dominate things, but you really know that Notre Dame's very capable, and as it turned out, they played a great second half, and they didn't turn the ball over.
No, never. Did you feel the momentum switching at halftime, even in here?
No, I didn't feel the momentum switching at halftime, but the third quarter drive, the opening kickoff of the third quarter, they scored pretty easily.
Yeah, 7 plays, I think.
They came on a third down situation there, and it was very frustrating when we had them behind and down in distance where they converted. That was a big part of their success.
They tried, I thought, early in the game to do what Holtz had said. They wanted to run the ball first down after first down. Couldn't do it. You stopped them, and the only way they could beat you was through the air.
Yeah, and they threw it a little better than I thought they would.
Yeah.
I thought when the obvious passing situations, I thought we'd get more pressure on them than we did.
No, you really didn't get
much. He stood back there and waited for the deep routes to come open, and that's not good. And then on the reverse for the touchdown, I mean, if they're going to hurt you with a reverse, don't let them hurt you in 3rd and 11. That's when it shouldn't hurt you. If it's going to catch you off balance, it's first down, not 3rd and long.
Yeah, I think they were 1st and 30 on that too at one point.
Yeah, they overcame a couple penalties on that drive.
Yeah.
So that was very frustrating.
I know we spent a little time together Saturday night, and you looked at me at one point and said, I can't think of a better kicker in America to go into a game with than Kenny Culbertson. I can't help but feel bad for him. I know nobody feels worse than he does.
Yeah, I don't know what happened on his first kick, but it really hurt his confidence. I don't know if his foot slipped or what, but he really missed that badly. And then after that, he wasn't himself. So, but he's been a great kid, and he's had a great year, and we really need him to look at the positive side and not blame himself too much.
As your team has to do, look at the positive side. I know it's hard to say it half an hour after the game, but such a terrific year is something I think you got to impress upon your players that, hey, this is the way you should look at this year, not just tonight.
I'm sure we will, but the disappointment is so severe. You know, I want to say to the people...
we're live now, back to everybody in Colorado.
Yeah, to the people back home, I just feel so bad. We're so close. We could have made everybody so proud.
Sure, but they are proud, Bill. And what kind of thoughts right now are going to go through your mind tonight and tomorrow and the next day? You're going to try and look ahead and not look back?
Well, yeah. You know, I got to wrestle with this one for a while. I got to think it through, and then we'll rebound and hit the recruiting trails. I'm going back tomorrow with the team, and then Wednesday I'm on the road. So we'll be back to work fast and try to recruit a great class.
One more thing before you run. We spent time together on Saturday night, and although I know you wouldn't say it, I felt so confident sitting next to you. Not that you would guarantee a victory, but I know inside you truly believed that you were going to win this game.
Yeah, I did. I truly believe we were going to win the game.
And I thought you probably even more so in the first half.
What was on my mind was I thought that we'd win the game, and I wanted to go back to Colorado and celebrate with everybody back there. So it's doubly disappointing.
Final question, and I'll let you run. A million people want to talk to you. We're live. Is there anything you want to say to anybody back home and get it off your chest, or anything you want to say to anybody that's watching?
No, just that, you know, we'll rebound. We'll come back, and we'll give the state of Colorado and the city of Boulder and the university community good football each year now. We'll bounce back from this, but right now we're going to bleed a little and then get up and fight again tomorrow.
You've had one of the most remarkable seasons any team anywhere has ever had, and I congratulate you and wish you nothing but continued success in the future. The 90s will be a great decade.
Thanks, Ron.
Bill McCartney, who certainly is the coach of the year in college football. We'll come back to the CU locker room in just a minute.
Yeah, the feeling was...
Back in the CU locker room, I'm with kicker Ken Culbertson. First off, let me congratulate you on a truly great year.
Yeah, it has been a lot of fun.
It has. You were so good this year, almost perfect, that I think a lot of people are more than surprised that you struggled tonight.
I was pretty surprised myself, I guess. I was kind of shocked. Every time I looked up, I couldn't believe that the ball was going to the side.
Was the turf a problem? Because I know it wasn't a great PAT out there.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've kicked on grass all summer and all, and the field was in good shape. I don't even know what I was doing wrong.
It looked like upstairs, and I don't know much about kicking, but it looked like you may have pulled the extra point.
Yeah, that's, like I said, I don't even know what I did. I kind of blanked out when I was out there. It's the first time I've ever done that.
Did everybody else after the field goal rally around you, try and pick you up?
Oh, yeah, my teammates were great. I mean, the coaches, the team, they've always been great to me.
How are you going to look back on this season? I mean, it's been such a remarkable year, yet you hate to get this close, especially with a team that a lot of you guys felt was the better team on the field tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell right now because this loss is kind of first on our minds. Maybe later on we can look back and see what we really did accomplish this season.
Kenny, I appreciate you coming over. Congratulations on a great year.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Ken Culbertson, that's pretty much the story from now in the CU locker room. Let's now go over to Peter Raghib in the Notre Dame locker room. Peter?
Thanks very much. We're listening to Anthony Johnson, the great fullback for Notre Dame, who scored the 2 touchdowns. We'll listen in and then ask a question.
Should have been ran for more, but you know, we came out the second half, and it was really a case of me finding the hole and really reading the defense, and that's what really broke things open.
Anthony, you said you took strength from your defense stopping CU coming away with no points in the first half after dominating line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was a big thing for the offense. I think defense stopping them 4 successive tries on the 1-yard line gave us the boost more than it probably gave our defense the boost, because we came in at halftime realizing we didn't really do a great job. The Colorado really outplayed us in the first half, and we came out second half and realized the score was still 0-0, and we
had a great chance to win this game, and we knew we had to do our job.
Do you think you should be the #1 team in the nation now?
Yes, I do. I think we should. We were the best team throughout the year, and we were ranked #1 throughout the year except for 1 week. And, I guess I just really think we should be the #1 team. We played like it today. Our schedule indicates it. That's something that's out of our hands now.
It seemed also that Notre Dame, the team that does not throw the ball much, completed some very successful pass plays, and perhaps that confused Colorado as well.
Yeah, I think it did. I think you got to really give a hand to guys like Tony Smith, Pat Eilers, and Tony Rice, of course, for making those plays happen, because it was at the end of the first half, the beginning of the second half, that those things occurred, and that really broke it open for us.
How does it feel to have the monkey off your backs about winning in the Orange Bowl?
That feels great. This is our home now. We came in here and said, hey, this is our home. This is our second game here, and this is our home.
You're going to move in?
Yeah.
Okay. Anthony, thanks very much. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Anthony Johnson, that's it for here in the Notre Dame locker room. We're going to go outside the stadium now to Steve Daniels and Ed Green. Gentlemen.
Hi, Peter. We are outside the Orange Bowl Stadium where fans have been pouring out. Understandably, Notre Dame fans are celebrating. CU fans are solemn.
Yeah, the CU fans are solemn, but a lot of them are saying, hey, this isn't the end. This is not over. The general feeling is they got a great team. They can come back under Bill McCartney and do it again and maybe be right back here a year from today.
Exactly. We just heard Bill McCartney say a few minutes ago that Colorado fans can look forward to many more seasons of great football back home.
Bill McCartney now a coach over the 500 mark, and he continues to do that. And if we're another 11-0 season next year, we'll go and do it next year. That's generally the feeling of the fans down here.
Yes, the fans are feeling good. It's been a good season for them, and they're feeling like there is a future for CU.
Yeah, you have a special CU fan right here, too, Steve.
We do. We have Steve Haley from Longmont. His grandfather played football at CU, and he has been to every home game, he says, in Boulder since he was 5 years old. Characterize your feelings tonight.
Well, I'm disappointed, but still proud of the Buffs, and I think they'll have lots of other chances in games like this.
Steve, thanks very much, and that seems to sum up the feeling of most Buffs fans here. I'm Steve Daniels along with Ed Green outside the Orange Bowl Stadium live in Miami. We'll have more for you coming up shortly.
The CU Orange Bowl post-game report has been brought to you by Taco Bell, a proud supporter of the Colorado Buffaloes. Congratulations on a great season. This has been a presentation of Channel 4 Sports, the home of the Buffaloes. This is Channel 4, your official CU Orange Bowl station. Now, live from Miami and Denver, this is News 4 Colorado Late Edition.
It started as a night of hope and dreams. The Colorado Buffaloes 1 win away from the national championship.
But it ended with memories of lost opportunities. A long, successful season came up just a bit short. Good evening and welcome. I'm Madeline McFadden.
And I'm Bill Stewart. The championship showdown in Miami is over, and the Colorado Buffaloes come home with a lone blemish on what was a perfect season.
Colorado lost tonight 21-6 in a game that saw the Buffs miss many opportunities. Les Shapiro joins us now with more on the game. Les?
You know, that 21-6 score very easily could have gone the other way if the Buffs capitalized on what everybody has called missed opportunities. You heard it from Madeline, from Bill. You heard it from Bill McCartney in our post-game show. It's the best way to put it. They knocked on the door. Nobody answered. Let me show you in the first half a few of the plays that turned the game the other way. Eric Bieniemy, with CU charging downfield, just fumbles the ball right out in the open. Notre Dame recovers. The threat from the Buffs is over. They're at the goal line now. 3 plays they couldn't get in. Eric Bieniemy stacked up by that great Notre Dame defense. And now a fake field goal. Jeff Campbell tries to get it in. No, they were inside the 20 all first half and could not get it in. And what about the Rocket, huh, Raghib Ismail? Was Lou Holtz blowing us a smoke screen all week or what? The kid had more than 100 yards rushing, filling in for an injured Ricky Waters. He looked fine, and Notre Dame wins that game down in Miami, 21-6. We'll bring you a lot more highlights later in sports, as well as the rest of the bowl games that happened today.
You know, it seemed like they came out with so much emotion, and then sort of fell flat in the second quarter.
Yeah, it was tough. And the thing that's going to haunt CU more than anything, I think, is from that Lou Holtz tape where he said CU will be grab bagging in the third quarter. They would fold like an old card table. And it looked like the Buffs did. They gave up 14 points in that third quarter. Right now, let's go back to Miami and the CU locker room with Ron Zappolo. Ron?
Les, thanks very much. I'm with standout defensive lineman Arthur Walker, and I really thought upstairs you dominated the first half of this ballgame. What did it feel like in here at halftime?
Well, we had a lot of enthusiasm going, and everybody was upbeat. You know, we knew we had to come out and play the same way we played in the first half, and like we came out and we gave too many big plays, and they hurt us in the end.
Did you realize, though, second, third series of the game, that they were not going to be successful trying to run the football on you?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. We've been practicing real hard to stop the run, you know, because, you know, that's one of our fortes, stopping the run. Like, they came out with some new blocking schemes. Some of their blocking schemes was like we didn't see them on the film.
Sure. Start the second half. They scored twice. First two series, they have the ball. Was part of that attributable to the fact that you may have been a little down in that you outplayed them so much in the first half, yet you come in here and you have nothing to show for it?
Yeah, that had a little bit to do with it. But like I said, they hit a couple of big plays, and like Ismail, he's a real good player, and their fullback Anthony Johnson. Like, I give a lot of credit to them. They did some nice hard football tonight.
Those two more than probably anybody else with a difference in the ballgame.
Most definitely, most definitely.
How are you going to look back on this season when the pain of this wears away?
Well, it was a wonderful season until this last game. You know, that was my only disappointment. You know, I really wanted this game out of all of them.
Arthur, I appreciate you coming over. Congratulations on a great year.
Thanks.
Okay. I want to bring Dave Logan in, my color man on the CU broadcast all year, and a man that I sat next to watching the ball game. And I want to be very serious about this. It's not a funny thing. It hurts when you're an alum of this team and you're so close to something so special.
Well, sure. It certainly doesn't hurt as badly as it does for the players and the coaches. But as we spoke at halftime, they had so many opportunities to really not only get ahead, but maybe put it to the point that Notre Dame would have to change the game plan in the second half. And you miss a field goal, you miss an opportunity from the one, you fumble inside the 15-yard line, and you can't do that against good teams.
And with all those things, still with a chance in the fourth quarter, if you can get the ball back, with a chance to win the ball game.
Yeah, I thought really defensively they wore down a bit. I thought they were very tired and fatigued in the last drive. And hey, Notre Dame's a big, strong football team. You have to give them credit for doing what they did the best, and that's run the ball. Anthony Johnson and Ismail really was the difference, so much quicker than Waters, and broke a lot of tackles. And they made 3 or 4 big plays in the second half.
Final thing, don't you think this game and this year and the wins back-to-back, Oklahoma and Nebraska, have put this football program indelibly on the map now for at least for the 90s?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think that's true. It's tough to think about how great the season was after they lose a game like this. But once they get away from tonight and have a couple of weeks to think about it, to reflect back on the season, I mean, this was a terrific year all in all, and they had a lot of things accomplished, and they should be very proud of themselves.
Pleasure as always working with you all year. Thanks.
I enjoyed it, Ron.
Okay, Dave Logan. That's the story from the CU locker room. We'll return a little bit later. Ron Zappolo, News 4 from the CU locker room in the Orange Bowl. Let's now go to Steve Daniels and Ed Green outside the Orange Bowl.
Thanks, Ron. Well, CU fans have been pouring past us for the last while here, and they have acknowledged, too, that it's been a fantastic season for them. They're leaving feeling a little down. Notre Dame fans, understandably, feeling up about the outcome of the game.
Very true, Steve. It's been a positive experience for the Colorado fans. Nonetheless, we have Notre Dame fans standing behind us right now, and they are waiting for their team to come out of the locker room. And a note about the Notre Dame fans, I thought they were well-behaved fans and pretty generous toward Coloradans, even with the win, and even when it was tied at 0-0 at the half. Great fans for the folks at Notre Dame as well.
You bet. I must say, and I think you would agree, that if you look at the CU fans, about 20,000 of them in the stands here today, they were really powerful, a powerful force, a lot of electricity in those folks.
Steve, I was down on the field during part of the game, and it sounded like the CU fans were just louder and stronger and just more enthusiastic, and I think rightfully so. And not having been to a bowl in a long time, Notre Dame fans may be a little more used to it. And for a while, the Notre Dame team members on the field had to try and crank up their fans when they were ahead 14-6. I think the fans thought they had it won at that point, and they were sitting on their hands thinking they just wanted it to be over.
You know, there were a couple of special gals in the CU cheering section. About a week ago, we introduced you to the Jacobson twins. They're 86 years old. They graduated from the CU in the class of 1925. They live here in Miami now. They were pleased to be hosting the Orange Bowl here in their town, but they didn't have tickets until a couple from Aurora back home in Colorado came up with some tickets they weren't able to use. So tonight, the Jacobson sisters enjoyed their time here at the Orange Bowl.
This one's fine. I put a D on mine.
They spent the whole day getting ready, making pom-poms, matching outfits, practicing cheers.
Boulder, boulder, rah, rah, rah. Hello, Denver! Here we go now, here we go. Oh, see you.
Dorothy and Nettie Jacobson trooped to their seats in the CU cheering section, watching with nervous optimism, not wasting a minute to prove they remember how to root for the Buffs. The Orange Bowl brought back memories of those Saturday mornings in the early 1920s, the days when the Jacobson twins would go to the Buffs games.
Oh, I just think of way back when we used to go to Boulder to the games and rooted for our team and everything, just like old times again. It's just a thrill of a lifetime to be here, really. Never dreamed of it.
Dorothy and Nettie joined about 20,000 diehard Buff fans packed into the Orange Bowl Stadium. All the cheering and shouting took its toll on the twins' voices, but they kept on going till the end, savoring their special day.
I think it's the greatest thing that ever happened to us. I really do.
The Jacobson sisters are outside with us now, and they'll be joining us live in a little while for their reflections on the big game.
Certainly looks like they had an enjoyable day, and we're glad we could do that for them, and we'll be talking to them shortly.
They sure did have a good time. Now let's go inside the Notre Dame locker room where Peter Raghib is standing by. Peter?
Steve, thanks very much. I'm with the MVP of the game, Tony Rice. What did you guys talk about at halftime that resulted in the 21 points more than you scored in the first half?
I would say that we had Colorado, came out first half they stopped it really good, and they had a good defense, they had a good offense, and the score was tied 0-0. But then second half they were still hitting hard, and they didn't give up, and I know we didn't give up, and that's how those points came up to about.
What were you thinking in the first half? Colorado, it seemed, was outgaining you significantly, but it seemed as though your team took confidence from what the defense was doing by keeping them from scoring.
First, you try to take advantage of what they gave us, and they had a couple of turnovers, and the big thing about it, I'm happy about that, we didn't have any turnovers, and we took advantage of what they gave us, and I think our line blocked really, really good, and our backs ran really well, and I'm just carrying out orders, just carrying out the plays, and just trying to perform like I always do.
Threw the ball more than you normally do.
Kind of surprised me. Like, he's calling the plays. I'm looking at him like, are you sure, Coach? And, I'm just happy with how things turn out. And the receivers had a young corporate receivers, and they did a really well job.
Tony, do you think Notre Dame should be the #1 team in the nation now as a result of this win?
I think so. We'll be the best team in the nation in Colorado, and we played so many bowl teams. Bowl teams who played in bowls, and it should be a doubt that Notre Dame is #1.
All right, Tony, congratulations. A beautiful game.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Tony Rice. That's it from the Notre Dame locker room in the Orange Bowl in Miami. I'm Peter Raghib reporting live. Now back to the studio. Bill and Madeline.
Okay, thanks, Peter.
Well, as you can imagine, folks in Boulder were watching this game with special interest. Our Jim Hanchett was there watching along with some of them.
A lot of disappointed fans in Boulder tonight. Jim's inside the Boulder Theater. He's been talking with some of them. Jim?
Well, guys, I'm in here with a whole bunch of empty seats. A few minutes ago, there were about 1,000 people in here. This was the place to be in Boulder tonight if you couldn't be in Miami. A big party here sponsored by the CU Alumni Association, a real big television screen. And early on in the evening, the atmosphere here was just electric. As Ralphie ran on the field, the crowd here roared, and as Lou Holtz paced the sidelines, the crowd here let loose with a lusty boo. But, of course, as the evening wore on, the faces here grew more weary, and a few minutes ago, just about everybody here left and went out into the Pearl Street Mall. Now, the plan for this evening was that the partying here would go on into the wee hours, that it would spill out into the mall, and that the folks here in Boulder would send up such a roar tonight that it would bounce off the Flatirons and all the way to Kansas. Of course, that's not happening. Just about everybody here has gone home. After all, tomorrow is a work day, and no doubt the talk around the water cooler will be next year. Reporting live in Boulder, I'm Jim Hanchett, News 4. Back to you, Bill and Madeline.
So turn out the lights, the party's over, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Orange Bowl coverage continues in a minute. We'll check in with Jillian Rice, who's with some Buff fans in Lakewood.
And we'll also go live to Lou Ann Aiken, who watched tonight's game with loyal folks to the Fighting Irish.
Not a bad weather start to 1990, but it might disappoint you a little bit tomorrow.
In sports, I'll give you the whole bowl picture from today, and the college basketball poll is out.
Coverage of the Orange Bowl continues here on Channel 4. Let's go live back down to Miami and Peter Rogat.
He's with Rocket Ismail. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter.
Okay, Madeline and Bill, Peter Rogat, we are live just outside the Notre Dame locker room, and we're going to talk with the MVP of the game, Rocket Ismail. Rocket, you were just saying we're live in Colorado. What your team talked about at halftime that resulted in the 21 points more than you had in the first half?
Right. I mean, in the first half, like I was saying, we had a lot of mental errors that cost us big plays. And we came in at halftime. Coach has told us that all we had to do was cut out those mental errors, continue to execute, and we'd start moving the ball. And he was true to his word, and everything just started clicking for us. We got in our offensive rhythm. Our defense played tremendous. I mean, everything started clicking, and we turned out on a positive note.
Tell us about the reverse.
The reverse was, I mean, this is a play we run once in a while, and on a particular play, one of the defensive ends kind of overshot, so we cut it up inside. Had a lot of key blocks, but the block that opened everything up, that bounced me out, was Tim Grunhardt's block. He, on one of the cornerbacks or safety something, he just shielded him off very well, and we took it from there.
It seemed as though the offense took confidence from the defense, keeping Colorado scoreless, even though Colorado was gaining quite a bit of yardage.
Definitely. I mean, when we needed the most, the defense stuck it to them, and that really helped us out a lot.
Final question, should you be the #1 team?
Yes.
All right, Rocket Ismail, congratulations on the game. Rocket Ismail, the MVP of this Orange Bowl game. That's it again from the Notre Dame locker room, and we go back to Denver. Bill and Madeline.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Madeline?
Well, as you can imagine, Notre Dame fans have a lot to celebrate tonight. Let's go live now to Lou Ann Aiken. She's at the Ironworks with some of those fans. Lou?
Well, Madeline, all that quiet you hear is the calm after the Irish storm that swept through here just a little bit earlier this evening. This was the scene. This was where all of the Irish, the Fighting Irish fans around Denver came to cheer their team on in the Orange Bowl, cheer their team on to victory, as it turns out. 1,200 members belong to the Denver Notre Dame Club, and nearly 100 of them were here tonight. And as you can imagine, they think they should indeed be #1, not Colorado. They were ear-to-ear smiles as they left here tonight. They left very quickly after the game ended. But no doubt the echoes of their cheers will be ringing through the Ironworks bar here for weeks to come, and we wish them some congratulations on their victory tonight. Reporting live from the Ironworks, I'm Lou Ann Aiken, News 4. Back to you.
Gee, Lou, tomorrow must be a work day. Everybody's going home early.
Indeed it is. They were going home early, but they were going home smiling, Bill.
Okay, thanks, Lou Ann.
Well, let's try again and see if the party continues anyplace else. Jillian Rice is standing by at Jackson's Hole in Lakewood. Jillian, what's the scene over there?
Well, I guess the people that are here, still here anyway, don't have to go to work tomorrow or something. No, it was a pretty depressed crowd that left here. This place, Jackson's Hole, is a real sports bar with more TVs than you've ever seen around the walls here. It's also owned by Ron Egloff, the former Denver Bronco, who, of course, everybody knows who he is, and everybody here hopes that he has the inside track on a football game. This place was wall to wall with people during the game tonight, as it would be on any Monday night during Monday night football games, but tonight was the Buff fans came home short, and there were a few Notre Dame fans here who came away laughing, but then even they were amongst the last to leave here. It was a pretty sad scene, but I'm sure everybody had a good time anyway, and now they got to get up and go to work tomorrow morning. Reporting live from Lakewood, Jillian Rice, News 4.
All right, Jillian, it looks like you're with the diehards over there.
Yeah, a few of them anyway.
All right, thanks.
Speaking of fans, we're going to go back to Miami and revisit the now famous Jacobson twins. They're standing by live outside the Orange Bowl with Steve Daniels. Steve?
Hi, Bill. I am outside the Orange Bowl Stadium live with the Jacobson sisters. They are twin sisters from the CU's class of 1925. This was their first football game since the early 1920s. Ladies, how did it feel tonight?
Oh, it just felt just wonderful. So we were back in the olden days when Boulder was just a small university, and the crowds just were wonderful at the games. The snow and everything was just, I thought about it, and I thought, well, here we are in Miami, and the seats were just, of course, hard, like the bleachers.
Just like you remember, just like the old planks in Boulder, right? Dorothy, how are you going to remember tonight's game?
Oh, I'm going to remember that we were in a sea of people, that it was thrilling, that it took me back to my roots when I was in Colorado and young again. and really was a thrill.
Watching you there tonight, it really did bring back the vigor. You were there with your pom-poms and the cheering, and they put the rest of the CU cheering section to shame. Right, gals? They had a very fun time, and they wanted to thank, again, the couple from Aurora who gave them the tickets and the chance to come to the Orange Bowl tonight. That's it from here. I'm Steve Daniels reporting live outside the Orange Bowl Stadium in Miami. Let's go back to Madeline in Denver.
Okay, thanks a lot, Steve. We've had a lot of fun following their adventures, but I guess some things like those hard seats never change. Thanks.
Thanks, Steve. Les is back with sports. So who is number one?
I think you're going to see 3 teams get votes. I think you're going to, maybe even Tennessee. So let's include Tennessee and make it 4. Tennessee, Florida State, your favorite, Miami, and Notre Dame. And CU probably left out in the cold. We're probably looking at 4, 5, 6, somewhere in that area. Yep. CU had a lot of chances. The first half, as we said before, they were knocking on the door a number of times, but nobody answered. Instead of leading at the half, as they probably should have, CU comes away empty at the Orange Bowl. The final down in Miami was Notre Dame 21, CU 6. The Buffs finished the season 11-1. Ralphie leading the Buffaloes out onto the field at the Orange Bowl. Both teams met at midfield. Notre Dame famous for confrontations before the game. The 2 coaches, Bill McCartney on the left, Lou Holtz on the right. CU defense was real fine in the first half. There they rack up Ricky Waters. 4th and inches, they took a chance on 4th down and made it. Eric Bieniemy and the Buffs threatening to score. Bieniemy great moves, but he fumbles the ball away and Notre Dame recovers. Now, Darian Hagan, a 29-yard pass to Eric Kissick in the first quarter. Gets it down to the Irish 27. The Buffs threatening again. They have to settle for a field goal try. Ken Culbertson, very reliable during the year. He just shanked it. Way wide left. Now, 1st and goal. Another chance to score. 3 plays. They could not get it in. Eric Bieniemy was stopped. Then on 3rd down, Darian Hagan, an inadvisable pitch. They go for the field goal again. No, they don't. They fake it. But Jeff Campbell is racked up. So many opportunities lost. Notre Dame has the ball still in the first half. Rice goes to Pat Eilers for 30 yards down to the CU 14-yard line. But even they can't capitalize when they're close in. And right before the half, Notre Dame has a field goal blocked. Dwayne Davis blocked it for the Buffs. Let's go to the second half now. Lou Holtz said CU would not play well in the 3rd quarter, and CU did not. This is Anthony Johnson, the big Notre Dame fullback, getting it down to the CU 10-yard line, and then Johnson runs it in for a 7-0 Irish lead. CU gets the ball back soon after that. Darian Hagan to throw. It's tipped a couple times by a couple players, and Ned Bolkar ends up with it for the Irish. And from there, Rocket Ismail, who was supposed to have a bad shoulder, still had his good legs. 35 yards on the reverse. He had 108 yards rushing today. McCartney and the Buffs are down 14-0. They finally got on the board when Darian Hagan, who had 106 yards tonight, takes it in. That made it 14-6, but they missed the extra point. Eric Bieniemy looking on, cannot believe it. One more score for the Irish. Anthony Johnson again for the final 21-6, and you can see the emotion on the sideline. The Buffs' dreams of a national championship turn out to be just that, dreams. All right, now let's go back to Miami for more from the locker rooms. Ron Zappolo is there with more from the Buffs. Ron?
Les, thanks very much. We're outside on the floor of the Orange Bowl. Fitting, I think, standing here in the rain. I'm with my 3 friends. 4 of us covered the game all week. Mark McIntosh, Dave Logan, and Peter Rogat. Peter, I'll start with you. Everybody's impressions. You were around Notre Dame all week in their locker room. How do you sum up the week and the night?
Well, I think what happened is you have highly motivated players who had come off the 1 loss in 2 years. They reacted very well to the fact that even though they were outplayed significantly in the first half, the game was still scoreless. In fact, the game was tied scoreless. They came in, got the motivational talk from the coach, made some excellent football adjustments, and came out and played as well as the team that won 23 straight games before November 25th.
Dave, you and I were with Bill McCartney on Saturday night, and we could both sense the confidence with which he went into this night.
Yeah, I think he felt real good about it, and judging from the way they played in the first half, he had reason to. Colorado totally outplayed Notre Dame, had some problems in the 3rd quarter. Although I didn't think they completely fell apart. But let's give Notre Dame credit. A team that did exactly what they had to do. It's a big play team. They're well coached, and they're going to be in the top 5 when it's all said and done.
For quite some time. Mark, you were around the team all year with your coverage, and what are your thoughts as we stand here in the dark, empty Orange Bowl?
Well, I think CU had been such an opportunistic team all year. They had converted on every 3rd-and-1 type situation, and it's a sense of frustration, really, for these guys in that they had so many opportunities in the first half to get that lead, to get on front, to get the emotion and the adrenaline pumping for them, and they were not able to do it. And I think also I was so impressed after the ball game. You know, they had the national championship on the line. They did not win the ball game. I truthfully was expecting to see a lot of crying, a lot of bawling in the locker room. They handled defeat with a lot of class, which was very impressive.
They did. I think the one thing, fellas, I'm left with was about a half an hour ago interviewing Bill McCartney live, and at one point saying, and you're standing right next to him, and he says, I feel so bad I let so many people down, and his voice started to crack, and he really didn't. When you go back to the summertime and you lose in a tragic way your quarterback, your 2 cornerbacks are gone, and nobody thinks you can get out of the Big 8, and you find yourself here on New Year's night and you're playing for a chance at a national championship, and in the first half you go in the locker room thinking, I think with a lot of justification, you're the better team, and it didn't work out this way, but CU will certainly be back. We had a great time this week in Miami, and hope you enjoyed our coverage. From Mark McIntyre and Peter Rogat and Dave Logan, this is Ron Zappolo saying, see you tomorrow from Miami.
All right, thanks, Ron, Dave, Mark, and Peter. Good job all week. Thanks again. All right, you're going to hear a lot of talk from the Miami Hurricane this week. All month long, they've been claiming they're the #1 team in the country, and they took out their frustration on Alabama tonight in the Sugar Bowl. The Hurricane a winner, 33-25. Miami finishes 11-1, including a convincing win over Notre Dame, and like it or not, the Hurricane will get votes for #1. Here are the highlights, courtesy of ABC and the Hurricane mascot, whatever it is. Miami stuck to its usual theme of pass, 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 and did it well. Craig Erickson to Wesley Carroll, they built a 20-10 lead, but the Crimson Tide rolled in with a score. Hollingsworth to Lamont Russell, and he gets a little excited by it. Miami's lead just 20-17, and then Miami pulled away on the arm of Erickson. To Rob Chudzinski, Alabama is thrown by a Miami Hurricane. Nebraska thought it had a shot at being #1 going into the Fiesta Bowl, but not anymore. The Cornhuskers were embarrassed by Florida State. That final was 41-17. The Huskers finished 10-2, and the Seminoles might get some #1 votes. They finished very strong in Tempe, Arizona. Last year, Notre Dame won the national championship there. Nebraska started out well. Quarterback Jerry Godowski buying time in the backfield, sees his man Morgan Gregory and gets it to him. Huskers take the early lead, but after that, Godowski spent a lot of time on his keister. Florida State with some tremendous pressure the rest of the game. They get the sack here. While the Seminoles quarterback, Peter Tom Willis, went on to have the game of his life. He threw for 422 yards. That touchdown to Terry Anthony, this one to Reggie Johnson. And one more team that thought it could finish #1 in the polls will not. The University of Michigan. It was not a nice farewell for the Wolverines head coach, Bo Schembechler. The Rose Bowl never has been very kind to Bo. USC beat Michigan 17-10. The Wolverines finished 10-2. And Bo finishes a great career on a down note. His Rose Bowl record, 2-8. You'll see USC here scoring a broken play. Freshman quarterback Todd Marinovich eventually takes it in. USC's Ricky Irvins went over 100 yards. He runs this one in to make Bo's day not very pleasant. Bo runs off the field with 234 career wins. He'll just handle the athletic director duties from now on. The Cotton Bowl had the individual performance of the day put in by Tennessee's Chuck Webb, 250 yards rushing. And the Volunteers beat Arkansas 31-27. Tennessee ends up 11-1. For this game, we take our blimp to Dallas, Texas. The Tennessee quarterback, Andy Kelly, has a pretty good game. He threw 2 touchdown passes, this one to Anthony Morgan, but his performance far overshadowed by his teammate, Mr. Webb. Here's Webb coming up with a wonderful touchdown run. Watch the moves here. His coach, Johnny Majors, says Webb is just as good as Tony Dorsett, and Majors should know. He coached Dorsett at the University of Pittsburgh. Chuck Webb, 250 yards today, a very happy 600 win for the University of Tennessee. In the Citrus Bowl, #11 Illinois beat Virginia 31-21. Illinois coach John Makovic, a great job putting that program back on track. Rumors are he could be back in the NFL soon. There are going to be some openings. Virginia killed itself on the opening kickoff. The Cavaliers' best runner, Marcus Wilson, fights upfield but fumbles the ball. Illinois recovers, and it didn't take them long to score. The strong arm of quarterback Jeff George putting the Illini in the end zone to Steve Williams. George threw for 321 yards today. And finally, the Hall of Fame Bowl, where Auburn beat Ohio State 31-14. Reggie Slack, the Auburn quarterback, threw 3 touchdown passes and ran 1 in. Well, how well thought of is Notre Dame? Today, the Irish defensive coordinator, Barry Alvarez, accepted the head coaching job at the University of Wisconsin. And he is the 3rd Notre Dame assistant coach this month alone to leave for a head coaching job. All right, how about some basketball now? It's about time, isn't it? No games in the NBA or college today, but the college poll did come out, as it does every Monday. Still on top, the #1 Syracuse Orangemen, followed by Kansas, then Georgetown, then Illinois, and then Michigan. 6th is Oklahoma, then Missouri, Louisville, Indiana, and UNLV. You will notice the Big 8 Conference has 3 teams in the top 10, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. And the Colorado State Rams, off their big win at the Mile High Classic, they won the tournament. They did get some votes, but could not crack the top 25. And finally, in hockey, now, what league besides the NHL would be stupid enough to schedule a game on Bowl Day? They did schedule one, and the LA Kings beat the Washington Caps 7-4.
And 5 people watched it on television.
Oh, well, I don't know if it was that many, Bill.
Okay.
Fewer than that showed up for the game, I think.
Okay, thanks, Liz.
The Buffs' best season ever leaves us with great memories and great plays. Next, we'll look back at the entire season and relive the best moments. Coach Bill McCartney and some of the CU Buffs players are coming home to Colorado tomorrow, and a lot of people are expected to welcome them at a big rally. All fans are invited to cheer the Buffs' return at the CU Events Center starting at 12:30 in the afternoon. If you can't make it in person, well, you can watch it right here on Channel 4. We'll broadcast the homecoming rally live.
Well, the Buffs couldn't bring home the national championship tonight, but they have a lot to be proud of.
They certainly do. It's a season we'll all remember for a long time. Editor Mark Baker collected the memories and put them together for us, and we leave you tonight with a look back at the Buffs season.
At the time of my life, no, I never felt like this before. Yes, I swear it's a truth, and I owe it all to you. 'Cause I had the time of my life, and I owe it all to you. I've been waiting for so long, now I finally found someone to stand by me. We saw the writing on the wall as we felt this magical fantasy. Now with passion in our eyes, there's no way we could disguise it secretly. So we take each other's hand, 'cause we seem to understand the urgency.